This boy was betrayed by his own sister. For her, he became the greatest knight, but in the end, it was all useless. When he closed his eyes, he woke up years in the past. At that moment, a girl kicked the door open, shouting and demanding answers. She kicked things around, yelling that he didn't understand anything, all because of a man named Song Fay. This time, Feng didn't hold back. He slapped her across the face. With cold eyes, he said he had run out of patience. "If you keep talking, I'll break your mouth." Then he slammed the bedroom door shut. "You're no longer my sister." In his past life, Feng lost countless things protecting her, only to be betrayed in the end. But this time, he will use his knowledge to become a monster of brute strength, and Song Fay will be killed. In a ruined kingdom, several bodies lie on the ground. Then a mysterious figure appears saying that this Qin Feng is truly incredible. She reveals that he cleared the ruins, but now she's going to take the divine artifact for herself. Lying on the ground, covered in blood, he asks why they betrayed him now. In despair, he screams her name, Qin Xiao Yu, calling her his dear sister. But the girl scoffs at him, saying he's not her brother, just an adopted orphan. Just then, a man appears and scolds her, but she says her fake brother was very useful. The guy thanks Qin Feng, explaining that the blade in his body will drain all his life force. Filled with hatred, the hero regrets risking everything for her, saying he misjudged her. She continues, saying he was only useful for protecting her, but now his value is gone. Then the traitor moves in for the final blow, warning that he'll take good care of the girl. Even on the brink of death, Qin Feng yells that he won't let them get away with it, and in an instant, the protagonist is finished, falling lifeless under the heavy rain. The story then explains how in 2025, a bizarre game appeared all over the world. In this game, players can bring their abilities into the real world, becoming super powerful. From that point on, the world changed, and chaos spread everywhere. After overcoming dangers and nearly dying, he finally conquered the ruins of the ancient god. But he never imagined he would be stabbed in the back in his moment of glory. The price of his success was the betrayal of his only family, which made him scream in pain. So all his life's effort only paved the way for someone else's success. He refuses to accept this, vowing that if he could live again, he would fight only for himself. The scene changes completely, and we see our hero waking up in a quiet room. He sits up in bed, confused, wondering where the hell he was, if this was the real world. And when he grabs his phone, he's shocked to see the year is 2025. Completely baffled. Looking out the window, he tries to process what could have happened for him to be here. Then it hits him. He realizes he's been reborn, 9 years before the game even started. But suddenly his bedroom door is kicked open with a powerful blow. It was his sister screaming at him, asking why he didn't answer her calls. He remembers this day when she fought with him over the idol Song Fay. Furious, she accuses him of being responsible for her brother's downfall, demanding money. Tired of the shouting, he strikes back with a slap across her face, leaving her completely shocked. From the force of the blow, the girl falls to the floor amidst the mess she herself created. She starts to cry, unable to believe he actually had the nerve to hit her. He warns her that he doesn't have time to argue, and if she keeps it up, he'll break her jaw. Then he throws a card on the floor saying he'll return their parents' money. For their parents' sake, he won't stoop to her level, but he warns her that from now on, everything has changed. Then he closes the door, declaring he no longer has a sister like her. The girl is left on the living room floor crying alone after hearing those words. In his room, he thinks about how he lost so many chances in his past life by always protecting her. Now, without that burden, he's curious to see how far he can get on his own. And this time, he'll use his knowledge to get ahead of everyone in the game. As for Song Fay, the protagonist vows to personally rip his head off. With that said, a blue energy portal opens, and he steps into the game world. He arrives at the selection hall, remembering he was stuck here for hours the first time. In his past life, he chose to be a warrior, but now without her, he can solo much faster. He decides that mobility and reaction time are the most important things for his new journey. Then, with a single touch, he finally chooses the assassin class for this new life. Suddenly, a screen appears, announcing that the divine artifact has successfully connected to him. With that, the Eye of Judgment activates, granting him the best profession and talent in the game. He smiles, understanding that the artifact recognized him and perhaps was the cause of his return. At that moment, mysterious shadows begin to envelop him, taking him completely by surprise. The darkness covers him completely, and the system announces he has gained a secret profession. The specialization then begins, and in a few seconds, the entire process is complete. A message appears, revealing what he has become. He is now a shadow, and as he emerges from the darkness, his appearance is different, with white hair and a dark look. He discovers that shadow is the strongest hidden profession, feeling an absurd amount of power. The thing is, every class has a chance to evolve, but his authority made it a certainty. The system explains that this power is a primal authority, one that surpasses rules and order. In his past life, humanity only discovered the power of order much later. Now he already has this power, with the new goal of leaving the realm of the gods to activate it. The system announces that the selection is complete, and now he needs a nickname for the game. Since his profession was born from the shadows, he decides his new name will be Shadow. With that, he enters the abandoned realm of the gods, a place full of dangerous monsters. But he appears in Shell City, which is a safe zone where players can't attack each other. All around, several players are desperate, not understanding how they ended up in this place. He knows that to get ahead, he can't wait for anyone. Practice waits for no one, so he activates one of his skills, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Just then, a group of players respawns in the city, complaining that if they die, they come right back here. They scream in terror, having lost half their health to a very weak monster. Desperate, the guys ask Sister Lizzie what they should do now. Our hero notices the girl, seeing that she also seems to have a secret class. She invites him to her group, but he coldly refuses, saying he doesn't need their help. The group is outraged by his arrogance, thinking the guy is full of himself. The blonde then sees his name, Shadow, and scoffs at him for thinking he's all that. But one of them suggests following him to see his skills and pick up some tips, and with a wicked smile, she thinks to herself that she also wants to see how he'll die all alone. Paying no mind to the others, our hero presses on, leaving the starting city. The blonde girl thinks the area is dangerous, which is why she formed a party right away. But the first monster they found wiped out her entire team in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, the guys notice his weapon, speed, and gear are different. Because of this, she decides that following Shadow could yield some very important information. He stops for a moment, sensing someone watching him from a distance, and glances to the side. The girl quickly hides, wondering if he somehow noticed her presence. Then he activates his first skill, Shadow Stealth, cloaking himself in darkness, and in the blink of an eye, the protagonist simply vanishes into the smoke. The group is left speechless, wondering how he could possibly have an invisibility skill. They decide to head back to the city. It's too dangerous, and they've already lost half their health. While invisible, he thinks to himself that the Shadow class makes him impossible to detect early on. He calls the group fools, since the city doesn't make anyone stronger, it only protects them. His stealth is about to run out, but the cooldown has already started, so it's no problem. He checks his stats, noticing the Shadow class gives bonuses to everything, way better than Warrior. He realizes he still has 5 points and thinks that most players make a mistake. With a tap on the screen, he decides to put all his attribute points into Agility. Agility is key. In the beginning, the only way to kill monsters is by increasing your speed. Suddenly, he hears a strange cry coming from deep within the dark forest. The sounds continue, seemingly from some bizarre creature writhing nearby. Then he spots a level 1 creeper monster, which appears to be evolving. He recognizes the creature and is certain it's the one that wiped out that group of newbies. From its wounds, he can tell the party managed to deal some damage, but it wasn't enough. In a swift move, the hero dodges the creature's attack as it whizzes past him. The monster then turns, and the two face off for a moment, ready for combat. But the protagonist uses his stealth again, preparing for a surprise attack. He vanishes completely, blending into the surrounding forest shadows. The creature is confused, looking all around, unsure of where he went, and suddenly, he drops from the sky with a powerful strike that breaks his invisibility. The damage is insane. He realizes the backstab stacked with other skills, killing the creature instantly. He stands silent for a moment, processing the outcome of the quick battle. Then he remembers that as a warrior, a critical hit barely did 40 damage. Back then, he struggled to kill a creeper, nearly dying in the process. And now, with his new power, he absorbs the life force the monster was carrying. The system notifies him that he's gained 54 years of life, which the creature had stolen from other players. Just then, the Eye of Judgment activates again, granting him the infinite evolution talent. Now he gains evolution points every 24 hours, or by defeating bosses solo. He's shocked, having never heard of this before, and decides to test the power immediately. Using his points, he successfully upgrades Shadow Stealth and Backstab. The skill now lasts 32 seconds, allowing him to remain permanently invisible. Nearby, a player brags about killing a monster, saying the game is easy. He promises to protect the girl beside him, claiming he can take on 10 enemies. The protagonist just watches, listening to their conversation and sensing the approaching danger. A creature appears in the trees, and the player offers to help whoever is in trouble. But our hero recognizes the monster, identifying it as a dangerous nourisher type. The girl points out that the guy disappeared, but the tough guy thinks he just ran off scared. But suddenly, a giant spider descends from the tree, surprising the two players. The guy panics, screaming and asking what the hell that bizarre thing is. The game screen shows it's a level 1 nourisher, a bronze-grade creature. While invisible, our hero knows this creature is an area boss, far too strong for newbies, but for him, this is perfect, a chance to test the strength of his upgraded skills. Then he emerges from the shadows, landing a powerful blow right in the spider's eyes. The creature shrieks in pain from the surprise attack, which hits it right in its weak spot, and without wasting a second, he uses Shadow Stealth to vanish into thin air again. The monster continues to shriek, and the system shows the strike dealt massive damage. He thinks that was a close call, as one attack from that thing would have killed him instantly. Furious from the attack, the creature begins to slam the ground with all its might. He realizes the spider is enraged, as these monsters are quite intelligent. He notices it's attacking blindly, and a strategy forms in his mind, so he throws a rock far off, confirming its blind spot is its back. The rock lands a direct hit on the spider's weak spot, dealing absurd damage to the creature. The system displays the damage, and he confirms his hunch about the weakness was correct. He realizes his damage comes from his skills, so even a rock becomes a deadly weapon. With this, he devises a tactic. Wait for the skill's cooldown, and then just throw another rock, and the plan works. The rock activates all the bonuses and deals massive damage again. Right after attacking, he activates Shadow Stealth to become invisible once more. The strategy is simple. Stay hidden until the cooldown is over, then attack the creature again. The scene shifts to the city, where a system announcement grabs everyone's attention. A ranking appears in the sky, showing that Shadow was the first to reach level 2. The players are shocked. They can barely survive, yet someone has already killed a boss solo. The blonde girl's party recognizes the name, unable to believe he pulled off such a feat. Even the guy who thought he was so tough realizes it was Shadow who killed the giant spider, and by killing the boss, he levels up and gets a ton of rewards all at once. But the best part was a book that gives him a chance to get extra loot from monsters. He remembers a guy from his past life who became famous just for having this rare skill. A glint flashes in his eyes as a brilliant idea forms in his mind. He then realizes that if he combines this with his talent, he can increase the drop rate infinitely. The scene cuts to the next day, with students walking peacefully down the school street. Her friend asks if she's not going to apologize, but Xiaoyu says she did nothing wrong. She complains that he meddles, saying she only needs her idol, Song Fay. When they get to school, her friend notices a strange crowd around their classroom. Curious, she squeezes through the students to see what's going on. Then she sees a classmate, Zhang Wei, lying on a desk, almost transparent. The guys explain he just took a nap, and suddenly he turned strange like this. It's explained that this was happening all over the world, a bizarre and unexplained phenomenon. Furious, Xiaoyu refuses to call her brother, wishing he would just die. Back in the game, Shadow uses his points and evolves the greedy hand to gold. With the skill activated, he gets more evolution points and 46 days of life. He celebrates the result, planning to gather more points to reach a 100% chance. He then decides to equip the dagger he won to speed up his progress in the game. He knows the world will descend into chaos when people find out they can take items outside the game. Suddenly, he hears someone yelling to get out of the way, putting him on alert. He's on top of a cliff when he hears someone shouting to be careful nearby. The scene shows a group of players fighting a very strange red monster. Shadow watches from a distance, thinking this is the perfect moment for him to act. He recognizes the leader, Wang Meng, and recalls the rumors about his team of rare classes. To defend himself, Wang Meng shouts the name of his skill, activating a sacred barrier. His class is Holy Shield Warrior, which has double stats and invincibility. Then, one of his allies, a mage, prepares a fire spell to attack. The fireball hits the monster dead on, but only deals 70 damage. That's because her class, Prophet, deals double the damage a normal mage would. The rest of the team also has secret classes, like a sharpshooter and even an oracle priest. With a combined attack, they manage to knock the monster to the ground for a moment, but the beast recovers quickly, attacking with enough force to crack the leader's shield. The group complains that the boss is too fast, and Wang Meng tells them to keep attacking. Shadow thinks the guy is optimistic, but knows he's forgotten the dangers of the forest. That's because the long battle ends up attracting other monsters, catching everyone by surprise. He recognizes the creature, a level 2 corruptor that uses ranged sludge attacks. At that moment, one of the team members yells for the boss to watch out for the new enemy. The guy charges forward, and Shadow notices it's another secret class he's never seen before, but his attack deals little damage, and he complains that the monster's defense is too high. Suddenly, the sludge creature prepares to counterattack with everything it's got. The creatures spit a disgusting slime, slowing everyone down and sticking them to the ground. With that, the mage is cornered by the monster, screaming for help with nowhere to run. But from the top of the cliff, a dark dagger flies towards the creature's head. The weapon hits the corruptor dead on, piercing its skull with a precise strike. The entire team is shocked by the scene, unable to believe what they've just seen. They realize the monster died instantly and wonder who is helping them. The swordsman doesn't understand how a level 2 corruptor was killed in a single hit, and before they can think, another dagger flies out and hits the second monster in the back. The leader is stunned by the instant kill and tells the team not to get distracted and to keep going. Now only the predator is left, and as Shadow receives the rewards, the fight resumes. He analyzes the new poison dart skill and decides to evolve it immediately. Meanwhile, the monster attacks again, hitting Wang Meng right in the chest. With a scream of pain, he's impaled by the creature, which mercilessly throws him aside. The team's healer despairs, warning that he can't heal him fast enough. Even on the verge of death, Wang Meng tells his friends to run and get out of there now. But suddenly, a poison dart hits the creature's mouth, dealing an absurd amount of damage. The team is in shock, as the mysterious attack took half of the boss's health. With the poison taking effect, the creature starts to writhe and growl in pain. Green liquid drips all over its body, showing how much the beast is suffering, and the continuous damage drains the monster's life, leaving it unable to fight back. From a tree, Shadow levels up to 3, celebrating that the poison activated his passive. Lying on the ground, Wang Meng is stunned by the power, wondering if the guy is even human. Suddenly, the light from the monster's loot vanishes right in front of him, leaving him confused. He gets up and thanks their helper, asking for the name of the one who saved them. But Shadow warns him, telling him not to trust people so easily in the forest. Wang Meng thanks him for the warning, introduces himself, and tells him to look for him if he ever needs anything. Shadow finds the guy trustworthy and realizes he could be a good channel for selling loot, so he uses Greedy Hand, gaining more evolution points, life, and a new pair of boots. He thinks about how many items he has and decides he'll return to the city to trade everything for more life. With a hateful glare, he swears he'll go after Song Fay soon to settle the score. The scene shifts to a rainy forest, where a group of adventurers is fighting tree monsters. One of them, Wang Meng, despairs when he sees a red creature, screaming that more monsters are coming. His friends panic, while one asks why the other guy is just standing there doing nothing. But then they all look forward, completely terrified by a giant, bizarre creature that appears. The monster begins to glow, gathering a dark, purple energy to launch a powerful attack. He then fires several energy spikes, mercilessly piercing the players' bodies. We cut to a medieval city where the players reappear, confused and frightened by it all. One guy complains that the monsters always move in packs and that they need to reach level 3 to get out. Another player suggests they need a larger group, maybe 10 people, to survive. But a veteran warns that large groups attract bosses, saying he saw one creature kill 30 people at once. The archer Lizzie explains that only their consciousness is in the game, and their real bodies can die. One of her partners complains they've already died 3 times, and Lizzie insists they can't die again. She then looks at the rankings and is shocked to see that someone named Shadow is already level 3. With this in mind, Lizzie realizes he must know a way to level up fast. She then orders the news to be spread, promising 10 million to anyone who brings Shadow to her. The scene cuts back to the forest, where a tree monster screams in pain as it's hit by a skill. It's Shadow, who, after defeating the creature, gains evolution points and is pleased with the result. He then decides to use his points to evolve the Hand of Avarice skill, spending them all at once. Shadow is impressed with the new effect, which increases the chance of getting even rarer items. Suddenly, he looks to the side, noticing a strange presence approaching in the darkness. He comes face to face with that same bizarre creature, the monster known as the Cursed One. The system identifies it as a bronze level boss that's almost a silver level one, but Shadow notices his backpack is full, so he decides to mark the location on his map to return later. His plan is simple. He'll level up, empty his backpack, and only then come back to kill the boss. The scene then shifts back to the city, where the players remain lost and hopeless. There, people are talking about the 10 million reward, thinking that only the rich will be able to save themselves. Suddenly, Shadow appears in the middle of the square, shrouded in a dark aura that scares everyone. He then opens a screen in front of him, preparing to start selling some items he's acquired. With that, he sits on the ground and announces a 10-minute flash sale of equipment and skills. The crowd goes wild, realizing he's Shadow, the top-ranked player who killed a boss. In the crowd, a player comments that you can't see Shadow's face because he activated a feature. Just then, a mage approaches and asks him how much the Cone of Ice spell costs. Shadow replies that the price is 100 negotiable days of life, while recognizing her as Grey Rose. She thinks the price is too high and tries to ask for a discount, but he warns her that the skill is worth every single day. The mage then asks if she can pay with real-world money, but Shadow rejects the offer on the spot. She remains silent for a moment, thinking about what to do to get the item. With that, she talks to her team, who agree to pool their days of life to buy the skill. The mage transfers the 100 days of life to him, and Shadow receives the sale notification. But suddenly, the archer Lizzie appears, shouting that she has finally found Shadow. Without wasting any time, she offers him 10 million in cash to help her reach level 3. The people around are shocked, as they didn't believe the reward was real and so high. Shadow recognizes her from his past life as a criminal who enslaved other players for money. With a look of pure disgust, he calls her trash and rejects her offer in front of everyone. Lizzie insists, but he warns her that money is worthless here and tells her to get out of his way. Furious with his response, she calls him trash and says that if they were in the real world, she would teach him a lesson. Shadow glares at the girl with a deadly look, warning that if she says one more word, he'll kill her. With that, a dark aura explodes from him, leaving Lizzie and her group completely terrified by his power. Frightened, she yells at her team to leave, and they all run away, afraid of Shadow. He then sells his last item and closes his shop, announcing that he's now going to deal with the Cursed One. It's explained that no one knows this game will destroy the order of the real world as they know it. Shadow vanishes into the crowd, leaving everyone confused and wondering what his class was. Far away, Lizzie and her companions were fleeing through an alley, completely exhausted and out of breath. With a look of pure hatred, she complains that Sombra threatened her and swears she'll kill him in the real world. Just then, a strange young man appears and greets her, leaving the girl surprised and a little suspicious. He introduces himself as Mao Lijun and says he knows a few tricks for leveling up if her offer is still on the table. Lizzie asks what kind of tricks, and the guy says he'll only tell her as a gesture of sincerity. He then explains that to level up, you need to put all your points into agility to outrun the monsters. She finally understands the game's logic and accepts his help, happy that someone who knows how to play has shown up. Lizzie offers him 5 million, and the guy accepts, thinking Sombra is an idiot for turning down the cash. The scene cuts back to the forest, where Sombra moves quickly through the trees with his dark aura. He finally finds the boss, noticing the creature has already evolved to a silver level and is still progressing. Sombra calculates it'll take about 8 hours for the creature to turn gold and decides he's not willing to wait. With that, he attacks with a stealth strike, dealing a massive 659 points of damage to the boss. The monster screams in pain as continuous damage ticks of 219 appear on its body non-stop. Sombra then uses another of his skills, called Latent Image, preparing for his next move. It's explained that a silver boss has triple the health of a bronze one as the creature screams in agony. The cursed one gathers a sphere of dark energy, preparing for a powerful counterattack. But Sombra figures he'll only need 2 or 3 more poison darts to finish it off. Just then, the boss fires several energy beams, forcing our hero to jump back and dodge. Sombra hides and thinks that if that attack had hit him, he'd be dead for sure. Ignoring its wounds, the monster begins to gather even more energy for another devastating attack. His strategy is to wait for the cooldown, to attack during the boss's moment of weakness. When the monster pauses for a second, he sees the perfect opening and yells that now's the time. With that, he uses Stealth Strike again, landing a critical hit on the creature's head. The monster screams in pain as the poison continues to drain its life, bit by bit, without stopping. Desperate, the boss turns and starts to run, trying to escape the fight to save itself. Sombra realizes the creature is almost dead, and now it's just trying to flee in desperation. He then runs towards the creature, thinking it's much easier now that it has given up. With one final blow, he finally manages to kill the boss, which falls to the ground, lifeless. A reward screen appears, announcing that he leveled up twice and gained many evolution points. Without wasting time, Sombra uses Hand of Avarice on the boss's body to collect the dropped items. Sombra is impressed, as the skill gave him double the rewards all at once. Suddenly, one of the items glows gold, evolving from silver to gold rarity out of nowhere. He complains about having little space in his backpack, hoping he got a storage ring drop. With that, he picks up the golden item from the ground, curious and surprised about what it could be. The scene shifts to the city, where the mage Grey Rose reappears, relieved to be alive again. Her party celebrates, thanking Wang Meng for helping them reach level 3. The mage regrets not adding the big guy, and hopes he'll notice her in her new outfit. But out of nowhere, the ranking updates, showing that Sombra has already reached level 5. Everyone in the square is shocked, wondering how he leveled up twice in such a short time. Wang Meng's group is stunned, thinking Sombra won't give them a chance to survive. He then tries to calm his friends, telling them to return to reality quickly and warn their families. Wang Meng says the world is about to collapse, and with that, they all decide to leave the game. The scene cuts to the real world, where Wang Meng wakes up in a bed, feeling very sick. His colleagues notice he's awake and run desperately to inform the team captain. They surround him, very worried, telling him he became almost transparent for a moment. Then, Wang Meng shouts to gather everyone, warning them that something very serious has happened. The scene shifts to a police station, where they begin to question one of the survivors of the incident. He confirms that Shadow saved them, explaining that he leveled up twice at once. The superior is shocked by the news, wondering how he managed such a feat so quickly. Another officer finds it strange that Shadow didn't return, questioning if he has a family. With a sad look, the officer replies that he doesn't know. Maybe he truly has no one. Just then, a female agent joins the conversation and suggests he might be a time traveler. With a small smile, she pushes her crazy theory, asking if she isn't right about it. But her boss gets annoyed, telling her to stop reading novels and take the case seriously. He reveals the situation is dire, as elderly people are dying in real life after falling asleep. So they conclude that if a person's life in the game hits 0, they die for real. In an emergency meeting, orders are given to create an army and explore the game. It's explained that the whole world is on high alert, and Officer Anyu is chosen as the leader. She accepts the mission on the spot, and Wang Meng is appointed as her deputy team leader. With a serious expression, Wang Meng agrees to the order, ready for his new role. The chief then reveals he chose Anyu because she has the perfect personality to investigate Shadow. The chief ends the meeting, ordering them to uncover Shadow's identity at all costs. With their mission set, the team disperses as the sun sets over the city. The scene then shifts to a school, showing the building in the late afternoon. There, some girls are talking, and one of them is worried about her parents who don't know how to play, but Qin Xiaoyu gets annoyed, wondering why Qin Feng hasn't shown up to apologize yet. In a flashback, she remembers he always used to calm her down, but this time he even hit her. Angrily, she swears she'll never forgive him unless he apologizes 1,000 times. She then thinks it's a good thing she went to see Song Fay, as she might not have had another chance. The memory takes her to the concert, with Song Fay shining on stage like a huge star. With his charming ways, he captivated the entire audience, including Qin Xiaoyu herself. Back in the present, she cries, saying just how much she misses him, but suddenly she stops, looking like she has a brilliant idea, as if a light bulb went off. She realizes that if everyone enters the game when they sleep, then Song Fay must be there too. Her face flushed with excitement, she realizes she can find him inside the game. Determined, She decides to find Zhang Wei to ask for help, since he leveled up so fast. In the classroom, she approaches and asks the Great Master Zhang Wei for some game tips. He gets cocky, seeing this as a heaven-sent chance to win the girl over. Over the phone, he shares the secret of putting all points into agility to be fast. She gets super excited about the tip, especially since he promised to help her level up later. Lying in bed, she decides to enter the game, determined to leave her brother Qin Feng behind. The scene cuts to a dark forest, where Shadow is analyzing the items he got as drops. He picks up a golden ring, an incredible item equivalent to 3 levels worth of stats. And on top of that, he also got a new assassin skill, Instant Slash. Without a second thought, he learns the skill right away, seeing how powerful it is. Using his evolution points, he first upgrades the Hand of Avarice to farm more effectively. Now killing one monster is like others killing 3, much more efficient. He notices the cooldown time hasn't decreased, but he realizes he can stay invisible forever. Looking at the other items, he finds a skill book that can be sold for good money. Suddenly, he senses a strange presence and goes on alert, making a silencing gesture. From the treetops, terrifying red monsters descend on him, beginning their attack. He identifies the monsters as level 4 crawlers, the perfect chance to test his new skill. With a swift motion, he activates Instant Slash, slicing through the enemies with blades of energy. The attack is devastating, and the monsters are completely annihilated in a matter of seconds. The system then notifies him of his victory, awarding him 80 XP and 5 days of life. He reflects on his efficiency, realizing he can now kill monsters much faster than before. With more life accumulated, his plan is to reach level 10, so he can extract items into reality. In the middle of a dark, rainy forest, a mysterious figure watches something in the distance. It's Sombra, who congratulates a girl for reaching level 3 and calls her out on an old promise. A man from her group asks him to calm down, even offering his number to negotiate and buy life days. He takes the chance to mock Sombra, calling him an idiot for ignoring such a great businesswoman. With a cynical smile, he boasts that the truly smart ones are those who turn game life into real money. The scene changes, showing us the starting town, with classic medieval village architecture. Sombra then approaches and manages to activate the village's teleportation portal. It's explained that he needs another active portal, and he remembers that in his past life, Song Fay activated one, but his focus now is to reach level 10, so he can go to the continent abandoned by the gods. That's where the real game begins, in a place with ancient ruins and much greater challenges. Back in town, the Shadow Master appears to sell items, causing an uproar in the square. A lucky player yells that he'll take the War Cry skill book, and the transaction is completed. One man thinks the price is steep, but his friend explains that the item pays for itself after a few days of farming. The crowd goes wild, with everyone wanting to buy the magic clothes and shoes he's offering. He sold everything in just 1 minute, but still thinks it's not enough to extract the items into reality. In the middle of the crowd, a girl approaches and asks if the Great Master wants a treasure. She then shows him a spatial ring, a rare item that grants 12 extra inventory slots. Sombra is completely shocked, as he didn't expect to see such an item so early in the game. He explains that the ring is extremely valuable, and asks how she plans to sell it to him. But the mage surprises everyone, saying she just wants to add him as a friend and kill a boss. Without hesitating, he accepts the friend request, and the system confirms the new connection between them. The protagonist then asks what kind of boss it is, and she reveals it's a gold level one. Hearing that the creature was on an old boat, he immediately suspects it might be the Golden Ghost ship. It's explained that this is a special and super rare boss that drops very good items. He starts connecting the dots, finding it too coincidental that she has the ring, and found this boss. The image shows us the legendary Golden Carp, the one they talked so much about in his past life. When asked, the mage says she was just wandering aimlessly and found the boss by pure chance. Sombra then remembers the rumors about a member of Wang Meng's team with absurd luck. He finally confirms the legend was real, and she is the girl with the carp's luck. Playing it cool, he says it's nothing, and the two of them continue on together, watched by another player. A henchman informs his boss that Sombra just left the village with a girl. The leader then scoffs at the newbie, thinking he's fallen for her charms, and orders his men to follow him. As they walk, she proposes that he keep the assassin drops, but makes a small request. In a sweet way, she asks him to sell her team's items at a small discount. He agrees immediately and tells her they are going to face the gold-level boss right now. The mage is completely panicked, unable to believe what she just heard from her partner. She tries to argue, but he reassures her, telling her to stay back and just watch the show. She thinks it's absurd, believing he's being way too arrogant for going in alone. Suddenly, Sombra vanishes in a puff of black smoke, leaving the girl confused. She looks around desperately, yelling and asking where the Great Master went. Seeing this, the enemy boss laughs, thinking Sombra tricked the girl and abandoned her. He then orders his henchmen to capture the girl to have some fun with her, but to everyone's surprise, Sombra reappears right in front of them, ready for combat. The gang leader barely has time to understand what's happening when he sees the shadowy figure. With an instant attack, The protagonist lunges at the enemy, giving them no chance to defend. The energy blade cuts through the air, slicing through all the gang members at once. He finds it pathetic, as it was easier than killing little monsters, and he even gains 12 life days. The mage finds him again and asks where he went, and he explains that he just sent some guys back. She starts getting some wild ideas, but he cuts her off, telling her to take him to the boss immediately. The scene shifts back to the village, with its classic medieval-style buildings. Just then, Qin Xiaoyu finally logs into the game, appearing in the middle of the city in a magic circle. She's amazed by the sensation, feeling how real everything is as she touches her staff. Then she discovers she's unlocked a secret class, the Priestess of Life, which makes her feel very confident. But she gets annoyed thinking about Qin Feng, deciding she can manage on her own now without him. Looking at the leaderboard, she's shocked to see that the #1 player, Shadow, is already level 6. She realizes he's the real expert and that she'd level up much faster with him. Meanwhile, another group of players seems frustrated because they can't contact one of their members. Their leader, Wang Meng, says they need a healer since they aren't as strong as Shadow. Suddenly a voice comes from behind them, catching the whole group's attention. It was Qin Xiaoyu, offering herself for the spot and revealing her secret support class. The scene cuts back to Shadow and his partner as they arrive at the edge of a cliff. Down below, they finally spot their objective, the legendary gold-grade ghost ship. He tells her to hide and be careful, saying he'll handle the boss alone. With a leap of faith, he dives off the cliff, heading straight for the ghost ship. The system warns that the area drains life 100 times faster, a major danger for anyone. It's revealed that the ghost ship is a special level 5, gold-grade boss with a time limit. He sees he has 45 minutes, thinking that's more than enough time to win. Without wasting a moment, he rushes forward with instant slash, aiming directly at the ship's skeleton. The attack lands a direct hit, dealing a massive 549 damage per strike. Next, he uses a poison dart, a silent attack to catch the enemy by surprise. The dart hits the bell on the ship's prow, which is the boss's true weak spot. It's explained that many players don't know this and waste time attacking the skeleton or the hull. But when hit there, the skeleton becomes furious, its eyes glowing as it controls the water. With that, it launches a gigantic area of effect attack, with jets of water shooting up from the swamp. The damage is so absurd that only a warrior in a full silver set could withstand the blow. Luckily, Shadow's base agility is so high that he manages to dodge the water jets. As if that wasn't enough, the boss also summons 12 rotten water ghosts to help in the fight. These monsters attack players chaotically, and the ship summons more of them every 3 minutes. But since he's always invisible, the monsters can't see him, so he just needs to find an angle. And from the best angle, he uses instant slash to eliminate all the monsters at once. From a distance, the mage just watches the poison darts hit the boss's weak spot over and over. She's shocked by his power, as the boss has already lost a third of its health without fighting back. Suddenly, he tells his partner Xiaohei that he's going to die any second. He calms her down, telling her not to do anything and just wait for the right moment to revive him. But she gets annoyed by the nickname, complaining that her name sounds like a dog's name. Meanwhile, the gang leader feels humiliated, remembering how he used to be a great leader. His henchmen find him and tell him the girl is there while Shadow fights alone. The boss's fourth and most complicated ability then activates, changing the fight. Shadow braces himself, knowing this is the hardest part of the battle against the ship. At half health, the boss unleashes a soul wave that spreads across the entire area. The attack hits him dead on, immobilizing him for 5 seconds with no chance to dodge. Seeing this, the mage becomes desperate, unable to do anything to help her partner. Trapped in place, he's hit by a massive attack coming straight from the swamp. With over 1,000 damage, he can't survive, and the system announces his elimination. Upon dying, he loses 326 years of life and another 1,000 negotiable days. From above, the gang leader laughs, pleased that the expert failed against the boss. Seeing his chance, he orders his men to attack the boss to get the dropped items and life. But suddenly, a holy light appears in the sky, leaving the gang confused about what's happening. The scene returns to the city, where the gang of players respawns after being defeated. They are furious, unable to believe they were wiped out so easily by a pillar of water. Meanwhile, Shadow reappears in the swamp, surrounded by several orbs of life on the ground. His partner explains that a noisy group was annihilated by the boss's area of effect attack. With a small smile, he realizes they underestimated the ship's power, just like he did in the past. It's explained that the boss only uses the immobilization once, but it has a teleportation trick. But Shadow doesn't waste any time and prepares another poison dart to attack the weak spot. The attack hits the bell squarely, and the poison starts to drain the boss's health little by little. The ship then begins to teleport, trying to escape, but the protagonist remains unfazed. With a focused gaze, he reveals that he has already predicted all of the enemy's movement patterns. With that, he uses instant shadow slash, an enhanced version of his technique. From above, the gang returns, and their leader tells everyone to get ready to attack the two of them together. The mage gets annoyed with the idiots, deciding she won't let them interfere with the fight. She then focuses her energy and begins to cast a very powerful lightning spell. With a divine spell, she electrocutes the entire gang, who don't even have a chance to react. One of the henchmen screams in fury, and the gang leader quickly identifies the mage as the culprit. Furious, he yells that she's asking for a death wish, and orders his men to eliminate her now. Desperate, the mage starts running and screaming for help as the gang relentlessly pursues her. From a distance, another group of players just watches the chase, hidden among the trees. The scene cuts to Shadow, who returns to the battle, moving with his shadow abilities. He notices the boss is almost dead, but reflects that the fight was much harder than it seemed. He also sees that two groups are watching, just waiting for the right moment to steal his loot. The skeleton lets out one last cry of agony as it's finally defeated by the poison. Using Shadow stealth, he deals the final blow, and the system announces his great victory. The scene briefly cuts to a distant landscape of mountains with a small village. In the city, everyone is shocked by the announcement, wondering who the powerful Shadow is. Qin Xiaoyao becomes determined, seeing that he is the strongest and can help her level up. In the swamp, a large amount of loot glows, the reward for the long and difficult battle. The other group sees the loot and plans to use a skill to find Shadow and steal everything from him. An archer then readies himself, using a magic arrow to try and reveal the hero's position. The archer then launches Phantom Eagle, an energy arrow that reveals invisible enemies. The ability explodes over a huge area, scattering numerous light feathers throughout the swamp. But Shadow explains that the skill is useless because his assassin class makes him even stealthier. The henchman reports that the guy vanished, and the leader deduces he ran away, scared of their group. They then decide to guard the loot, waiting for the 5-minute ownership timer to expire. But suddenly, Shadow emerges from the darkness and attacks the entire group at once. With incredible speed, he slices through all the enemies, who don't even have time to react. With the area finally quiet, he can peacefully collect his loot, but then he remembers his partner. Before collecting, he uses his points to upgrade Greedy Hand, making the skill epic. Seeing the 100% chance, he decides to gather all the light and grab everything together. With a shout of excitement, he prepares to use his ability and collect the reward. An intense light shoots into the sky as the system announces that Greedy Hand has been activated. He receives several points, days of life, and even 2 phantom fire bells as a reward. But as he's admiring the items, he hears Xiaohei screaming for help, sounding like she's in trouble. He calls for his partner, but only hears her screams telling him not to get any closer. The mage is then cornered by the gang, who taunt her, saying there's nowhere left to run. Weak and completely exhausted, she leans on her staff, seemingly out of hope. But with a final breath of courage, she turns and faces the cliff, leaving the guys confused. Without hesitation, she throws herself off the edge, choosing death over being captured by them. The fall is brutal, and she dies on the ground, sacrificing herself to escape the situation. The gang leader is shocked, commenting that the girl was really determined to do that. Back in the forest, she sends a chat message saying she has revived, and Shadow promises to deliver the items. Alone, he breathes a sigh of relief and considers upgrading his Greedy Hand with the points. But the cost is too high, so he decides it's better to focus on his attack skills. With that, he upgrades Instant Shadow Cut to Platinum and improves his dagger's damage. He's satisfied, as his damage has doubled and can now reach 7,000 with a stealth attack. Analyzing the loot, he sees that Greedy Hand gave him 11 gold and 2 platinum items. One of the items is a platinum dagger with an effect that makes normal attacks hit twice. He finds the effect useful, since the weapon's base attack and agility bonus are very high. He then equips the leather armor, which increases his health and makes him much more resilient. To avoid drawing attention, he conceals the armor and picks up the last item, a skill book. He recognizes the dodge skill but remembers that everyone considers it very weak. But he's different, as he can upgrade skills infinitely, so he learns it on the spot. He plans to sell the rest of the items to Wang Meng, thanking his partner for her absurd luck. On his way back, he runs into that gang again, and they can't believe their eyes. The boss and his lackeys are completely stunned, unable to believe it's really him. They panic and try to flee, screaming in fear as they see Shadow's aura. Not letting them get away with it, he charges forward with a swift strike, hitting the gang leader head-on. The boss falls with no chance to fight back, and Shadow just watches him in silence. The guy begs for his life, but Shadow asks if he thought about that before. He eliminates him without a second thought, and the system announces that he is now an assassin. A red aura surrounds him, but he's calm as his new item protects him from death. With that, he returns to the city, and his terrifying aura quickly catches everyone's attention. The players are stunned, recognizing Shadow, who has returned after defeating a gold-tier boss. One of the guys who attacked him approaches, finding it strange that he isn't wearing any gear. He tries to apologize, offering an assassin's skill book as a peace offering. Shadow analyzes the book, seeing it's a common control ability that causes a stun. Not caring much, he just accepts the item and continues on his way, leaving the group behind. But they are furious with the humiliation, planning to team up to put an end to him. The leader reveals his plan, to find out who he is in real life and kidnap him. One of them suggests using a beautiful woman to trick him, setting a trap for him. The scene changes, and he meets the mage, who again dislikes the nickname he gave her. She is impressed with the items, feeling her firepower more than double instantly. He then reminds her of their deal, and she hands over the spatial ring as they agreed. The mage tells him she found a secret cave that seems to be the entrance to a ruin. He's surprised, thinking how great it is to be her friend because of her luck. Now with more inventory space, he asks about Wang Meng but finds out he's training. She marks the location on the map, explaining that she ran from there because she heard terrifying screams. He decides to go to the ruins now, vanishing in a puff of smoke and leaving the mage talking to herself. With a swift move, the protagonist disappears into the shadows, heading toward his destination. He explains that he wanted a place to level up, and that there are 3 types of ruins in the city. To him, the monsters there are like a sea of health points and evolution. He finally finds the entrance to the ruin, a hidden place in the middle of the forest. Going down the stairs, he explains that there are 3 types of ruins for beginners in the cities. The cursed ruins have monsters that were once human, while the temples are more complex. Seeing the murals on the wall, he realizes this place is a temple of faith. He finds the drawings familiar and realizes it's the temple of the ancient god of judgment. As he moves forward, he hears screams and feels that the place shares the same origin as his power. The scene cuts to the forest, showing Wang Meng's group in heavy training. The warrior is on the front line, defending against the monster's blows with his shield. A red monster charges forward, but Wang Meng manages to block the direct attack. But another team member can't withstand the beast's strength and is thrown far away. Seeing his friend on the ground, one of them desperately yells for Qin Xiaoyu to heal, but she's terrified, not knowing how to use her new priestess abilities properly. The monster then turns to attack another member, who shouts for her to use the skill already. In a panic, she cowers in fear and ends up throwing her staff, not knowing what to do. In the end, the entire group is wiped out, reappearing as ghosts back in the city. The mage finds the team back in the city, wondering why they returned from training so early. One of the guys is furious, yelling at Qin Xiaoyu for being completely useless in battle. The other mage tries to defend her, saying it's normal to die on your first time in the game, but another member reveals that the team died 3 times in less than an hour because of her. With a smile, she offers to help, assuring them she's strong now with her new items. The leader, Wang Meng, accepts her help, hoping they can find Shadow later. In her thoughts, Qin Xiaoyu apologizes, but is annoyed with the team of losers. The scene cuts to Shadow, who finally reaches the destroyed entrance of the ancient temple. From inside the dark place, he starts to hear strange and terrifying wails. There, he finds 2 devout followers of the ancient god, level 10, silver tier monsters. Unfazed, he just observes the scene and prepares to launch a stealth attack. With his instant shadow cut, he rushes toward the 2 monsters at full speed, but the attack barely has any effect, and he notices their health is higher than the ship's. He notices something strange, as the monsters seem to be looking in his direction. Then he realizes they sensed the Eye of Judgment, which is why they didn't attack him. He tries to communicate, asking the monsters to guide him through the path of the sacred temple, but he realizes they are corrupted, turned into beasts that only know how to steal life from humans. The followers then rise, screaming, ready to attack whoever invaded their sanctuary. With a strange green energy, they attack a new threat that has just arrived. Suddenly, another group of players appears at the entrance, coming face to face with the danger. They panic when they see the 2 silver tier bosses telling everyone to run. A masked mage in their group seems to be preparing, surrounded by an aura of power. Shadow recognizes the team, remembering he sold an item to them before, Grey Rose. He then collects the loot from the guys he killed, seeing they dropped over 100 days of life. After looking around, he notices there are no traps or treasures, just the 2 mini-bosses. With nothing left to wait for, he decides to end this quickly and charges at the monsters. With a fatal blow, he eliminates both, gaining a lot of XP and more tradable life days. To ensure the best outcome, he uses his epic greedy hand to collect all the rewards. He is shocked by the result, getting evolution points, gold, and silver items. And amidst the loot, he even finds a piece of gold equipment, a special pendant for assassins. He's happy with the necklace, as his stealth and attacks are now much faster. Suddenly he feels the ground shake and realizes something strange is happening in the room. A stone pillar then begins to rise from the floor, right in the center of the magic circle. He understands immediately, realizing that by killing the monsters, a new mechanism was activated. Shadow notices a secret mechanism hidden in the wall. He approaches and pulls the lever, which creaks loudly. The circular platform on the floor begins to shake and move. He realizes it's actually an elevator, and it starts to descend. As it goes down, the sliver of light from above gets smaller and smaller until it vanishes. The platform finally stops after a long descent of about 400 meters. He then looks around, trying to figure out what kind of place he's ended up in, and he discovers a gigantic labyrinth hidden beneath the temple. We're told that this place is filled with traps everywhere, but luckily, he has an item, a pendant that can help him with this exploration. With it, he summons a silver rank follower to fight by his side. He orders the minion to go ahead, acting as a scout to find any dangers. Having a servant in front makes things easier, but he decides to play it safe anyway. So he uses his points to upgrade his evasion, which now reaches 75%. It's revealed that upgrading high-rank skills cost far fewer evolution points. He concludes that from now on, all his skills will be at least epic rank. With his remaining points, He upgrades his stealth, but he still thinks the cooldown is too long. His minion continues to scout the path until it steps on a pressure plate. Suddenly, a giant boulder falls from the ceiling, crushing his servant in an instant. Shadow decides to wait for the cooldown, as the labyrinth is too dangerous to navigate alone. The scene then takes us back to the upper floor of the temple, which seems empty, but in reality, another group of adventurers was there, spying from a nearby room. They're shocked when their scout confirms that the two monsters are really gone. The group wonders who could have killed two silver rank bosses so quickly. The group's mage remembers seeing Shadow and becomes terrified of his absurd power. Back in the labyrinth, we see the minion has been caught in another spike trap. After 3 long hours, he finally reaches what seems to be the end of the labyrinth. With his cooldown finished, he manages to summon his servant again. He then sends the creature ahead to test the safety of a stone bridge. Upon finding a giant door, he orders the minion to open it, even though it hesitates. Shadow finds it strange that his minion can't open the giant door. He decides to try it himself and places his hand on the door's surface. At his touch, the door reacts and begins to open with an intense blue glow. A strong gust of wind bursts from within, throwing the servant back with its force. The protagonist is a bit surprised by this but holds his ground. The gate reveals an incredible place with a starry sky and a chest covered in thorns. Next to the chest, he finds a mysterious NPC who seems to be guarding the treasure. He tries to view the character's information, but all that appears are question marks. Shadow is intrigued, as he's never seen such an enigmatic NPC before. The NPC then begins to speak, but in a strange language he can't understand. Suddenly, the woman starts to glow with a strong golden light that completely covers her. In the blink of an eye, she vanishes, and the thorns holding the chest disappear with her. Now the chest is free, shining brightly and ready for him to open. Shadow thinks that woman must be related to the Eye of Judgment. He approaches the chest knowing it contains epic items, but he's afraid it might be a trap. To avoid any danger, he orders his minion to open the chest first, even though the creature is scared to death. The servant obeys, and as it opens the chest, a powerful golden light shines out from within. He sees he's gotten a book, a divine skill for assassins with active and passive effects. The screen displays the details of the skill, called Mercy's Gift, which increases damage to weak points. Shadow is impressed by the passive effect, but he thinks the active ability is even more overpowered. He calculates that the skill's total damage could be up to 3 times higher than normal. With this, his attack power skyrockets, and he gets excited to upgrade the skill to legendary. Satisfied, he tells Wang Meng to head back to the city, as he has items to sell. The scene changes, and he's now back in the city, in what looks like a central plaza. But as soon as he arrives, he notices the city's atmosphere is very different from usual. A crowd of players surrounds him, shouting his name and asking to be his friend. The crowd is so desperate that one guy even offers his own wife in exchange for help. He understands that the teleportation portals have opened, and he can now travel to Song Fay's city. With no patience for the crowd, he simply uses a skill and vanishes into thin air. The players get angry and start fighting among themselves, blaming each other for scaring Shadow away. Away from the chaos, he finds the mage from the other group, who calls him Little Black. She then informs her captain that the expert, Shadow, has finally shown up. Our protagonist looks at them, a clear expression of curiosity on his face. He is surprised to see that Qin Xiaoyu was there with Wang Meng's group. He wonders how she got on the team, thinking she could destroy the entire party. He reminds himself to be careful, as his identity as Shadow cannot be exposed. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu thinks he is the key to reuniting with Song Fay soon. Shadow then offers items to the team, but Wang Meng says the price is too high for them. Grateful, Wang Meng promises that his group will return the favor in the future if needed. The team celebrates the new items, happy that Shadow trusted them to pay later. But one of them notices that nothing came for the priestess, leaving Qin Xiaoyu out. She then approaches him to ask about the items and sends a friend request at the same time. The girl's face turns bright red as she waits for a positive response from our protagonist, but Shadow is enveloped in a dark aura, preparing to leave. In an instant, he simply disappears right in front of them, leaving everyone shocked. The group is left completely confused, while Qin Xiaoyu is visibly disappointed. Far away, Shadow reveals that he actually did have gold-tier items for priests, but he questions why he would give such rare and valuable things to Qin Xiaoyu. He thinks he needs a way to sell his items, but can't let Qin Xiaoyu get in the way. Then he remembers someone from his past and decides he needs to find Little Jue. We're told that she was a priestess of a hidden class, much stronger than Qin Xiaoyu. He then remembers that the girl is also from Firefly City, which is perfect for him. With a plan in mind, he decides to go there to get Shui on Wang Meng's team. Without wasting time, he activates the teleport and leaves for the new city immediately. The scene shifts, and he arrives in Firefly City, observing the place for the first time. But he hears shouting, with 2 guys arguing about Song Fay and a silver rank boss. He's surprised, having just found a clue about his target without even looking. We cut to a canyon, a desert-like place known as the Wailing Valley. It's a level 5 area, filled with fire monsters and very dangerous creatures. Hiding, he watches a battle where players are screaming at each other in desperation. A giant fire demon attacks, forcing a warrior to defend himself desperately. He notices the situation is chaotic, with several players attacking each other in the middle of the fight. Then, he spots a large group of players, all of whom seem to be following the same leader, and in the middle of them all was his target, the arrogant and cocky Song Fay. A warrior charges forward furiously, yelling that he's going to finish Song Fay for robbing him. But one of the nobles' fans attacks first, hitting the guy to protect her beloved Appa. Shadow watches it all, remembering that Song Fay tricked his fans into becoming mages for him. We're told the girls adapted, becoming human shields and even brawler mages. In the beginning, his team dominated, but over time, almost all of his fans died. Song Fay pretends to care, saying his heart aches to see his sisters fighting. But a fan says he's the one suffering the most and yells for everyone to attack the monster. The boss is struck by lightning, as the girls promise to follow their Appa forever. The creature then roars in pain and retaliates, launching a fireball at him. The attack hits Song Fay head-on, sending him flying back from the impact. One of his fans quickly heals him, saying they'll always be crazy about him. Another girl yells that they need to kill the boss, so he can surpass this shadow guy. They unite and cast a spell, swearing they will always be by Brother Fay's side. The combined spell hits the monster, causing an explosion of elemental damage. Song Fay complains that Shadow must be using some kind of bug, since he's only level 7 himself. He smiles, confident he'll surpass Shadow and become the #1 player in the game. But suddenly, his eyes widen as he sees a presence materializing before him. It was Shadow, who appears out of nowhere and rushes him at an absurd speed. In the blink of an eye, he activates his skill, the powerful Instant Shadow Slash. The blow lands squarely on Song Fay's face, leaving his fans desperate at the sight. The dark attack cuts through everything, hitting not only him, but all of his fans as well. The kill feed scrolls up, confirming he wiped out the entire team and the area boss. The other players are speechless, as his skill dealt 10 times more damage. They finally realize it's Shadow, and decide to let the expert take the loot. The crowd praises him for clearing the map, but he knows they're just scared. The scene cuts to the respawn point, where Song Fay returns to life, completely lost. He's in shock to see he died, and lost over 1,000 days of his lifespan. His fans are also clueless, accusing Shadow of a cowardly attack. We go to a flashback, where an archer asks to join Song Fay's group, but his mages immediately block her, saying her damage will only hold them back. But then Song Fay appears with a speech, saying he believes love conquers all. He accepts the girl, saying he feels her passion and that they will grow together. The archer cries with happiness and declares she loves Brother Fay with all her heart. With that, other girls offer to become assassins and mages to help the team. Song Fay then opens his arms, saying his family of love is united forever. His fans cry emotionally, shouting that they have no regrets following Brother Song Fay. They join in a chorus of revenge, promising they'll make Shadow pay dearly for this. Meanwhile, other players comment on the commotion, and one reveals that Song Fay was killed. The other guy is shocked, but the answer is simple, as the killer was Shadow. In his mind, Song Fay boasts that he'll show the world a weak assassin is nothing. Back in the present, Shadow uses his greedy hand to collect all the loot at once. With the points he gained, he evolves his Gift of Mercy skill to the legendary tier. Now, enemies' weak points are double the size, which greatly increases his damage. But he realizes the cost to upgrade a skill from legendary to mythic is absurd. Without points for that, he decides to upgrade his backstab ability to platinum. With everything settled and over 1,000 days of life gained, he decides it's time to leave. But suddenly, one of Song Fay's fans leaps onto his back to try and attack him. The girl yells for him to die, trying to drive her dagger into him with all her might, but the blow simply passes through him, as his passive evasion nullified the attack. The assassin is in total shock, unable to believe how her attack could have failed. Seeing she missed, the girl uses her stealth to try and escape, kicking up a cloud of dust. But Shadow notices the other fans have already surrounded him, shouting that he's cornered. They then prepare to attack, swearing they will avenge the death of Brother Song Fay. Filled with hatred, the girls get ready to attack, yelling they'll avenge Brother Fay. But Shadow doesn't even care about them, and simply activates his stealth to disappear. However, the group's archer warns him it's useless, as she can detect his position. The girl then uses a special skill, causing several feathers of light to fall from the sky. The feathers end up revealing the other assassin, whom the fans mistake for Shadow. The group's leader yells for everyone to attack, not even realizing their mistake. The poor girl tries to shout that it's her, but it's too late for any warning. A shower of magic attacks hits their own ally, causing a massive explosion. One of the fans says it was divine punishment, and tells the archer to use the skill again. But Shadow takes advantage of the confusion, and uses a bell that paralyzes everyone for 3 seconds. The girls are instantly frozen in place, unable to even move. Before they could react, a Shadow lunges towards the first victim. He activates Shadow Slash again, passing through all the girls in a single motion, and in the blink of an eye, he defeats the entire fan club, giving them no chance to defend themselves. Hiding, Song Fay is in shock, as he doesn't understand how they died so quickly. Shadow then whispers in Song Fay's ear, telling him he was already dead. In pure desperation, he tries to protect himself and hastily activates a magic shield. But Shadow's attack is so powerful, it shatters his barrier into 1,000 pieces. With that, Song Fay falls to the ground completely defeated, with no chance to fight back. As he collects the loot, he realizes the guy had over 2,000 days of life to steal. But he notices the fans had nothing, as they gave all their lifespan to Song Fay. He thinks it's a waste, since all that life will now feed the monsters. Back in the city, Song Fay is furious to see he only has 500 days of life left. The archer then explains that her skill only detected the other assassin, not Shadow. Someone points out that Shadow's stealth must be a higher level than their detection. He then deludes himself, thinking Shadow only attacks him out of pure envy for his beauty. To ensure everyone's safety, he decides to move to a different spot to level up with his fans. Sometime later, Shadow returns to the city but can't find anyone from the group. He finds their disappearance very strange and wonders if they logged out of the game. Then he appears out of nowhere behind a guy, asking where Song Fay went. The guy points to where Song Fay went and asks Shadow to spare his girlfriend in the process, but Shadow vanishes into thin air, leaving the player lamenting how hard it was to get the girl. He knows that searching blindly is a waste of time and thinks everything would be easy if he found Gu Yixue. And as if fate was on his side, he turns around and comes face to face with the girl he was looking for. There she was, Gu Yixue, the hidden class priestess, with her small owl on her arm. He then approaches and asks for a hand, and the girl instantly recognizes him as Shadow. He proposes a deal, a golden staff if she can find Song Fay's exact location. The girl is surprised, not understanding how he knew about her secret tracking skill, but she accepts the deal on the spot, since she can't afford a gold item otherwise. With the staff in her hands, she's drooling, overjoyed with her new golden weapon. Seeing the girl distracted, Shadow loses his patience and flicks her on the forehead. He then tells her to stop messing around, leaving the priestess a little embarrassed. She finds his vibe familiar and asks if he's not afraid she'll run off with the item. He surprises her by asking how she knows he hates Song Fay, leaving her confused. Not wanting to answer, she just sends her owl flying to start the search for the target. Gu Yixu is intrigued by Shadow's mysterious demeanor, but decides to focus on her mission. Her owl then transforms into an eagle of light, soaring over the city in search of clues. The eagle returns and reports that she's found Song Fay, giving him the exact coordinates. He then asks her to keep an eye on the target, assuring her he won't be long. With the information in hand, our protagonist sprints toward his enemy, but along the way, something strange catches his eye, and he stops suddenly. Gu Yixue, who is with him, asks why he stopped, not understanding the reason. He ignores her question and tells her to look for other trees nearby, just like that one. Using her eagle vision, she reports 2 more trees 100 meters away. He then approaches and touches the symbol on the tree, which begins to glow brightly. Mysteriously, he tells her to guess what he's about to do. Upon activating all 3, a triangle of light forms, and a pillar of energy shoots into the sky. And right in the center of it all, a jade rank treasure chest emerges from the ground. Sombra is surprised by his luck. He's found an ancient god's blessing. It's explained that activating these symbols can either summon monsters or grant rewards. The girl goes wild over the chest value, which could be worth a fortune. Seeing this, the priestess decides to memorize the symbols to find more treasures. Upon opening the jade chest, he gets a skill book called Flourishing Curse. He learns the skill, which drains the entire lifespan from a recently slain body. With his new ability, he vows that Song Fay's days are numbered, even in the real world. The scene cuts to Song Fay's group, now facing a giant fire and lightning wolf. The noble feels safe, thinking Sombra won't pursue him anymore after everything that happened. With a confident smile, he plans to settle the score with Sombra once he levels up. But one of his fans spots another group nearby, who are also hunting a boss. Song Fay is stunned, recognizing them as fans of someone named Niu Jiaqi. His followers become furious, and decide to attack the pests to protect their ranking. The other team sees them approaching and thinks they're reinforcements, wanting to kill the monster together. But one of Song Fay's fans lands a direct hit on a guy's face. Without mercy, she smashes the player's head with her staff, finishing him instantly. The man's partner becomes desperate, screaming and asking what she's doing. With a dark look, the fan says, "This is the fate of those who follow Niu Jiaqi." The other girl yells back that she doesn't even know who that is, but she is struck by a powerful attack and eliminated instantly. Her friend cries out in despair, screaming her name as he watches her body fall to the ground. Song Fay's fans then start chanting that they will conquer the heavens with him. They continue their war cry as the monster is mercilessly attacked in the background. In their brother's name, the girls launch a massive attack that devastates everyone. Song Fay thanks his family, playing the victim for almost falling into an ambush. Crying with emotion, they shout that they will follow their beloved Fay wherever he goes. From a distance, Sombra watches a purple flower sprout from the ground, a very strange sign. Surrounded by a dark aura, his eyes glowing, he prepares to strike. Using his ability, the protagonist vanishes in the blink of an eye. He reappears in front of Song Fay, telling him he's already dead with no way out. With a single dark slash, the noble's head flies off, shocking everyone around. The followers descend into total panic, screaming their brother's name in pure desperation. Sombra then appears behind one of the fans who doesn't even notice his presence. presence. With the body on the ground, he activates his new ability, the terrifying, flourishing curse. From the fallen body, a gigantic red flower blooms horrifically. The group panics, not understanding what that bizarre approaching thing is. In a game city, Song Fay revives, startled and confused about what's happening. He panics, questioning why Sombra is so obsessed with hunting him. On his knees, he realizes his lifespan is continuously decreasing. Song Fay is shocked to see he has less than 400 days left, wondering what the penalty is. The scene widens to show his allies also reviving around him. One of his followers shouts in desperation, warning that Sombra used a strange skill. Song Fay realizes the flower on his body is draining his life and curses Sombra. He then orders everyone to log out to avoid losing more lifespan. Before leaving, he vows this isn't over and that he will crush Sombra with his money. The scene changes, and we see Sombra standing amidst the bodies of the players he defeated. The system notifies him that he has become a slayer, but all he can think about are the 1,000 days he just farmed. Just then, an owl with a golden aura flies over, watching from above. The owl belongs to a girl, who remarks on how terrifying Sombra's power is. Sombra then asks her if Song Fay really logged out, and she confirms. As she's about to leave, he calls out to her, offering a powerful skill to keep her around. The girl immediately accepts the offer, and Sombra asks her to wait for him in the city. The scene then takes us to one of the game's main cities, with its medieval architecture. There, Sombra offers a rare skill book to Lizzie, on the condition that she accepts a request. He gets flustered by her reaction, and explains that he just wants her to be a healer for a team. Lizzie accepts the proposal, but warns she'll complain if the team is too weak. He reassures her, saying they're decent, and that he'll contact them right away. The scene cuts to a rainy forest, where a monster is brutally crushed. We see Wang Meng celebrating, having finally defeated the creature, but he's poisoned and asks Qin Xiaoyu to use her purification ability. She remembers she has the skill, and with a focused look, prepares to cast it. Qin Xiaoyu casts the purification spell toward her injured companion, but the spell misses its target and she apologizes, completely embarrassed by the situation. Wang Meng succumbs to the poison and collapses, to his friend's despair. Back in the city, Wang Meng's group discusses what to do, while Qin Xiaoyu isolates herself. One of the team members laments that they urgently need a new healer. Meanwhile, Qin Xiaoyu looks at her screen, thinking the game is easy to level up in. Suddenly, Wang Meng receives a message from Sombra, offering a new healer. He accepts immediately, and Sombra says she's in Ember Town, a good place for leveling up. At that, Wang Meng turns to Qin Xiaoyu with a serious expression on his face. He informs her that the team is heading to a more difficult area and she can't come along. Before she can protest, the group runs off, leaving her behind. Furious, she curses the team and decides to find Sombra to carry her. The scene shifts and we see Wang Meng meeting Sombra and Lizzie in the middle of the city. He hands over the payment, mentioning a certain Captain An, which piques Sombra's curiosity. At that moment, a girl in armor comes running and waving at the group. The nameplate reveals her in-game name, Execution of Justice, surprising everyone. Sombra is shocked, as he recognizes An Yu as a top 20 player from his past life. She greets Sombra, introducing herself as a fan, while he reflects on the encounter. And Yu comments on his leveling speed and even jokes that he seems like a reincarnator. He becomes thoughtful, remembering that in the past, she was on a different and very powerful team. And Yu then proposes to buy all the equipment he has, and reveals she holds the city's entire lifespan. Sombra agrees, thinking the cooperation is beneficial, and notes how astute she is despite the rumors. The scene changes, taking us back to the real world, to a schoolyard. A girl screams in despair, warning that the game's lifespan is real and lethal. Her friend panics because she gave all her lifespan to Song Fay. Other girls talk fearfully, realizing that killing other players also drains your life. One of Song Fay's followers is in denial, as he only has 1 day of life left. But suddenly, he sees a surprising notification on his phone. The news said that his idol, Song Fay, was buying lifespan from others. He then excitedly shows off his fan gear, wanting to use it to find his idol. The guy puts on his fan outfit and strikes a pose, ready to go get help, and so he runs down the street, excitedly shouting Song Fay's name. The scene changes again, showing the facade of a residential building at night. In her room, Qin Xiaoyu wakes up, confused about what's real and what's a game, but she smiles when she sees on her phone that she became a millionaire by selling her lifespan. But her eyes widen when she sees a shocking headline at the top of the screen. The headline read that Shadow was slaughtering Song Fay and had already done it 3 times. Qin Xiaoyu cries desperately as she reads the news, unable to believe what she's seeing. She laments that with these deaths, Song Fay's lifespan will soon run out. Curled up in bed, she wonders why Shadow is so strong and merciless. Suddenly, a message on her phone asks for help for Song Fay, mobilizing all his fans. The fan announces that Song Fay is buying life at Daijiang Square at a great rate. Realizing the place is nearby, she decides she can't just stand by and has to help. So, Qin Xiaoyu runs down the hall, determined to use her 200 days to save him. The scene cuts to Shadow, who slices a giant lobster monster with a clean strike. He was actually facing a swarm of these creatures, clearing a path on the beach. After the battle, a golden aura surrounds him, and the system congratulates him for reaching level 10. A global announcement appears in the sky, stating that Shadow was the first to achieve this feat. Other players are shocked, with some foreigners complaining about his absurd power. His status screen shows how strong he is, but he thinks his lifespan is still too low. He thinks that to leave the starting city, he'll need to wait for more people to reach level 10. But for now, he decides to return to reality, as he has matters to attend to there. Shadow then logs out of the game, leaving the virtual beach behind and returning to reality. Back in his room, a system screen asks if he wants to bring his abilities to the real world. He accepts without a second thought, and the system shows a list of everything that can be extracted. Qin Feng decides to extract his class first, and a blue aura envelops him as he spends 1,000 days of life. Next, he spends another 2,000 days to extract level 2, strengthening his real body. Now with a stronger body, he decides it's time to extract his assassin skills. He notices the cost is lower than expected, as it's based on the skill's initial grade. With that, he extracts 2 skills at once, thinking he got a great deal for what he spent. He clenches his fists, feeling the power flowing through his veins, a completely superhuman strength. Now, his body has surpassed human limits, and he's ready to finish Song Fay. He grabs his phone and sees that Song Fay is buying life in a square just a few kilometers away. Suddenly, his phone vibrates, and he sees it's his arrogant supervisor calling and sending a message. Losing his patience, Qin Feng just calls the guy an idiot and blocks the number right away. With his old problem solved, he tosses his phone aside, focusing on his new life. With a menacing look, he warns that people will soon understand what the real game is. The scene shifts to Daijiang Square, where a crowd of fans is cheering for Song Fay. In the middle of the crowd, several girls and women are excited, acclaiming their great idol. On stage, we see Song Fay sitting next to a blonde woman, watching the euphoria. The woman then mentions she heard about his deaths, but that she's already investigating Shadow. Curious, Song Fay asks what she managed to find out about the enemy's identity. She explains that she sent someone to make an offer, planning a trap for him. With a wicked smile, she says they'll capture him so Song Fay can teach him a lesson. Song Fay likes the idea, and comments on the method her company uses to control players. She scoffs, calling the others useless, and gloats that his fans would give their lives for him. With his ego inflated, Song Fay just lets out a small laugh, feeling very confident. But suddenly, a man shouts from above, telling the crowd to stop selling their lives. He continues his speech, reminding everyone that death in the game is also real. The man then accuses Song Fay of deceiving his fans and threatens to report him to the authorities. Song Fay just rolls his eyes, already expecting someone to cause a scene. Then, he stands up and grabs the microphone, beginning a speech to calm the crowd. The fans in the audience shout for him not to apologize, as he's done nothing wrong. Song Fay continues his speech, asking everyone to be positive and seek a better future. He says he's cooperating with the authorities, and that he uses his assets to be a better idol. With tears in his eyes, he apologizes for causing so much trouble for everyone. The fans are moved, and shout that he doesn't need to apologize for anything at all. The audience goes wild, with everyone crying and endlessly chanting his name. 2 fans then turn to the guy who complained and tell him to get out of there right now. Suddenly, his most devoted fan starts shouting, defending her idol with everything she's got. She gets on stage and defends him, questioning how anyone could believe such absurd rumors. With great passion, she says that sacrificing for him is the least a true fan would do. Her speech ignites the crowd, who agree and start chanting that they love Song Fay. At this, everyone starts offering their days of life, showing how much they're willing to give. Song Fay then turns to the fan on stage and especially thanks her for all her support. Emotional, the girl cries and says she would die happy just to be able to look at him so fondly. With teary eyes, he looks at her, appearing deeply moved by her declaration. Suddenly, a blue energy dart cuts through the air at high speed, heading for the stage. It strikes Song Fay right in the head, directly in front of the fan who was before him. The entire audience, including Qin Xiaoyu and the blonde woman, is in shock at the scene. The attack pierces his skull as he stared in shock at the girl in front of him. Song Fay's lifeless body falls onto the fan, who freezes, not understanding anything. The blonde woman screams in terror upon seeing the body on the floor, and panic begins to spread. The crowd falls into despair, with everyone wondering what happened to their idol. One of the fans shouts that Song Fay is dead, and his body disappears from the stage. At this, the security guards act quickly and begin to escort the blonde woman to a safe place. As she runs, she remembers seeing a light on his body, which suddenly vanished. She realizes that only one person could use the game's skills in real life to do this. But before she could finish her thought, an energy dart hits her in the head as well. The guards look back and see the girl falling, and a mysterious figure in the crowd. It was Qin Feng's shadow, standing amidst the chaos with an aura of power around him. The scene changes, showing a sunset over the city, one day after the big event. The news spreads that Song Fay is dead, the cause reported as supernatural. In a car, Qin Xiaoyu and her friend stare at their phone screens in shock. Qin Xiaoyu cries, unable to believe he's gone right after his concert. Her friend then suggests it was murder, and the killer could only be Shadow. She's confused, wondering how game abilities could work in real life. With a determined look, Qin Xiaoyu concludes the killer is definitely Shadow. As the taxi moves, she thinks her world has lost its light with her idol's death. She then decides she needs to get stronger and wants to get close to Shadow. As she gets out of the car, her friend calls out to her, but she already has a new goal in mind. With tears and hatred in her eyes, she swears she will kill Shadow to avenge her brother. The scene cuts to Qin Feng, eating peacefully at a random restaurant in the city. He thinks that even as a player, he still needs to eat to regain his energy. Suddenly, his phone starts vibrating non-stop on the table next to him. He answers it and gets a message threatening to fire him if he doesn't return to work. He answers the phone and remembers Yang Xiaoya, an old guildmate. She asks about the game, and he advises her to focus on agility for a good start. Then he thinks about his real problem, Qian Shishi, the company CEO's daughter. In his past life, she caused a lot of trouble for his guild, and he needs to stop her. He knows that with her death, the association she would create will never exist. Just then, his phone rings again. This time, it's a call from Qin Xiaoyu. She's surprised he's alive and tells him she already bought a house with what she earned. Unfazed, he just asks what else she wants, leaving the girl speechless. Qin Feng simply agrees with her decision, which makes her even angrier. He hangs up and leaves, thinking he needs to level up before everyone discovers the game's secret, because when that happens, the world as he knows it will never be at peace again. The scene returns to the game, where Qin Xiaoyu's friend questions her about her brother, but she refuses to apologize, as she sold her life force for 2 million. She then tells her friend she's going to meet Shadow, and that she doesn't need her brother anymore. Suddenly, a player approaches in waves, calling out Qin Xiaoyu's name. Zhang Wei hands a skill book to Qin Xiaoyu, but she silently scoffs at him. She then asks them to inform Shadow, planning to give him the book for free. With a confident smile, she believes this item will finally get her closer to her target. She fantasizes about being by his side, healing and leveling up together to earn his complete trust. But her final plan is dark. When he's no longer useful, she'll kill him. With a psychopathic smile, she swears she'll rip out his eyes and avenge her idol. But the answer she receives leaves her shocked. Shadow refused the item. The scene cuts to the past, showing Shadow in a dungeon, preparing for a fight. He shouts for everyone to be careful, as imminent danger was approaching. He sees he must survive at all costs, as the creature is no ordinary boss. The monster then focuses on one of the team members, who desperately tries to protect himself. But the warrior's defense can't withstand the reddish creature's multiple attacks. His shield is shattered to pieces, leaving him completely vulnerable. From his hiding spot, Shadow identifies the creature as a level 8 boss, the Golden Arthropod. He remembers this monster has a level 2 anti-stealth ability. This means that against this enemy, his main assassin skills are useless. The spider monster roars furiously, preparing to strike with all its blades at once, but Qin Feng, as Shadow, lunges forward with absurd speed, unleashing his dark, swift aura. He then hits the boss by surprise, dealing massive damage to several points. It's explained that his plan is to attack from outside its field of vision to maximize damage. Thanks to a legendary skill, 3 of his 9 strikes hit weak points for triple damage. Shadow's damage was so absurd, it took out 1/6 of the golden monster's health. Without wasting time, he throws a poison dart to deal some continuous damage to the enemy. The dart hits the creature square in the eye, and it begins to suffer from the poison. But the poison isn't very effective, and he realizes he needs to improve his stealth soon. Suddenly, Shadow senses danger from all sides and prepares to dodge. The monster then uses its strongest ability, attacking our hero with everything it's got. Seeing this, one of the mages screams in despair, warning him to be very careful. But Shadow remains calm, analyzing the boss's every move with his sharp golden gaze. With impressive agility, he dodges every blow without a single scratch. The girls are dumbfounded. He perfectly understands the monster's attack patterns. Shadow reveals he's fought this boss so many times he's lost count. In his past life, he never won because he finally understood he needs to feel the monster's rhythm, and it's precisely because of that experience that he knows what to do to win. He then proclaims himself one of the 100 strongest assassins and attacks with full force. Seeing the boss's health is almost gone, he gives a slight smirk, already anticipating victory. The monster freezes in fear, realizing it stands no chance against our hero. The mage then shouts in surprise as the golden boss is trying to flee the battle, but Shadow isn't letting it get away and prepares one last poison attack to end the fight. In the blink of an eye, he unleashes the skill, which pierces the monster's body without mercy. With the victory, he gains a lot of experience, evolution points, and almost 500 days of life. He's happy, as a golden boss gave him enough points to exchange for 2,000 days. But then he notices something unexpected, a skill book the monster left behind. It's a platinum assassin shield that converts dodge into a damage barrier. He then remembers he can evolve this new skill directly to the epic tier now. With this, Shadow creates 7 damage shields, ready to explore much more dangerous areas. Since he still had points, he evolves his poison dart to double the skill's damage. Shadow also equips 2 new gold tier items, an agility ring, and leather gloves. With this, his stats improve greatly, and his survivability increases significantly with the shield. The group is shocked he won a loan and asks if he has any books to sell. He then offers a golden book for mages, which cost 800 days of life to buy. Shadow explains that the skill is already level 7, which is why the price isn't too high. The mage doesn't think twice and accepts the offer, buying the skill on the spot. After the trade, he spreads the news about the boss to create an infinite supply of prey. A guy then informs him that Qin Xiaoyu wants to give him a book as a gift. It's explained that she might want to avenge Song Fay, or perhaps impress Shadow himself. The messenger then tells her that the big boss said the skill is trash. Changing the subject, Shadow summons Wang Meng to the city and tells him to get the days ready. But Wang Meng takes the opportunity to ask a very serious question about Song Fay. Shadow falls silent for a moment, just staring at his guildmate without answering. And then, he confirms without hesitation, saying he was the one who finished the guy off. Wang Meng is left thoughtful by this information, as the motive and time of the crime match up perfectly. Shadow then stares at him and asks if he wants to arrest him, testing the authorities' reaction. The scene then shifts to a city, where the group gathers to discuss recent events. Sombra enters the mysterious place, catching the attention of all the players there, and Yu gets straight to the point and asks if he admits to killing Song Fay. Without hesitation, he confirms it on the spot, saying her information is completely correct. She then smiles and explains they already suspected it, as they conducted a thorough investigation. But since Song Fay was kidnapping players, Sombra's act was deemed self-defense by the government. He reflects that things are different now and wants to see how his rebirth will change the game. To start things off, Sombra puts his platinum items up for sale, leaving everyone speechless. One of the girls finds it strange and questions if getting multiple platinum drops is just luck. Another girl complains about her nickname since one is called Snow and she's called Black. Sombra then teases her, and she gets all flustered and accepts the nickname right away. Wang Meng laments that they struggled to kill a silver boss, while Sombra gets rare items. Sombra then announces the prices and offers a discount of 16,000 days for everything, and Yu accepts the deal on the spot, saying the price is fair, which surprises Wang Meng. He likes the captain's decisive attitude and finalizes the trade with a satisfied smile. He explains that the sale is worth about 400 million, a worthwhile investment for the government. With the items, the authorities can build strong teams, avoiding bigger problems in the future. And Yu then invites him on a mission to rescue players captured by Dajiang Industries. But Sombra refuses the invitation and asks if the government is trying to recruit him now. He reveals that upon reaching level 10, players can use their abilities in real life. Sombra warns them to make good use of their time, as they now understand what's at stake. With everyone understanding Dajiang's plan, he says his goodbyes and announces he's leaving. He then uses a teleport skill and vanishes right in front of the group, and Yu decides they will split up to level up faster and not waste their damage output. The priority now is to reach level 10, and Wang Meng agrees to report the new information. The scene changes, and we see Sombra buying coordinates for silver and gold bosses. An arrogant guy suddenly arrives and asks if Sombra is still selling his goods. He offers 300 million in company shares if Sombra agrees to carry his master, but a player informs him that his master is already dead, because Sombra killed her in real life. The man panics upon learning Zhang Li is dead, as she had tried to capture Sombra. It's explained that the guy was knocked out while trying to collect money to lure Sombra. He then woke up chained in a basement, forced to farm life days for the guild. Lizzie celebrates that Jiang Li got what she deserved, while the henchman feels like a fool. The man tries to explain he was forced, but he quickly flees, afraid of Sombra. A player then approaches, offering the coordinates of a silver boss for 30 days. Suddenly, Qian Shishi appears, and the players warn everyone to stay away from her. She arrives with her group of foreigners, all of whom look very strong and intimidating. The girl finds the game boring, saying it's all about buying items to steal other people's lives. The scene shifts to a forest, where her group prepares to hunt some weak players. In a flashback, she's annoyed because the game made her miss a flight she was taking for fun. Stuck in the city, she complains about the local men, finding them all as weak as insects. But her partner praises her, saying they are naturally superior to the men there, of course. She then hears that Song Fay is dead and remembers defeating him in less than a minute. With a malicious smile, she becomes interested in Sombra, the globally ranked assassin. Therefore, she decides she will use this opportunity to finally meet our hero. One of the men says he's logging off to make a call and asks them to contact Sombra. Qian Shishi believes Sombra wouldn't refuse 3,000 days just to kill an insignificant person. The scene then reveals the target, a young man who swears revenge and shouts that Qin Feng will die. The scene cuts to a group in a forest, where a guy is attacking a slime monster. With the whole team in danger, Qin Xiaoyu uses her magic to heal her injured ally. He then complains to her, saying the heal came too late and almost didn't make it, but she replies that he didn't die and tells him she's going out to get something to eat now. At that, the two girls log out of the game, leaving the guy alone and confused. He's furious with her attitude and swears he'll deal with it later. The scene changes, and now we're back in the real world, showing a very fancy building. In the new apartment, Xiaoyu wakes up starving, sprawled on her messy bed. She grabs her phone and complains, as there's no delivery service with everyone playing the game. In a flashback, she remembers that Qin Feng always used to cook, so she never had to worry. Back in the present, she has a sour look on her face, thinking about what to do. She then thrashes around in bed, telling herself that this is nothing compared to freedom. Trying to cheer herself up, she says she's strong and much better off without Qin Feng. The scene changes again, and now we see a beach with a very suspicious cave. Suddenly, a giant crab with red eyes emerges from it, ready to attack anyone who appears. Without even giving the creature a chance to react, Sombra attacks the crab with his dark, swift aura. With a single blow, he slices the monster in half, showing his absurd strength in the game. He then celebrates, having defeated 4 silver bosses in just over an hour of hunting. The loot from the monsters earned him more life days, and now all his items are gold tier. His stats have improved significantly, but he knows that gold equipment is his limit for now. To advance, he needs to change his class and get level 3 stealth to face platinum bosses. It's explained that in his past life, it took a 20-man raid to kill one. Because of this, he decides to return to the city and sell all the loot he got to the government. His goal is to get ahead of everyone and be the first to kill a platinum boss. The scene then returns to the city, where he will finalize his plans for rapid growth. With the sale, he now has 105 years of life, enough for many plans. But a strange guy approaches, calling out to him and asking if he is Sombra. The man offers a job, a target in the real world with a good reward in return. Sombra simply ignores him and keeps walking, leaving the guy completely stunned. Desperate, he shouts the target's name, Qin Feng, and says it would be easy money for him. Sombra stops for a second, wondering who would want to kill this Qin Feng person. The guy says that's none of his business and offers 3,000 life days for the job. He finds it interesting, as the money is good and the real client seems to be someone else. The man then asks if he's tempted, but Sombra already has a suspect in mind. He remembers Qian Shishi, the only person with the money and motive to do this. It's explained that she's the only one with the power for it, but she could have acted sooner. With this, he realizes her true goal is actually to connect with him, Sombra. So he accepts the deal, but demands half up front and the right to choose the time. The man starts sweating and says he'll need authorization to make the deposit. After a quick conversation, they begin the transfer of life days right there. The transaction is approved, and he notes that he'll go after Qian Shishi soon as well. But when he receives the address, he's shocked, as it's the exact place where he lives. The guy grumbles about his attitude, since they both work for the same person in the end. But suddenly, a woman calls out to him, asking our specialist to wait a moment. She says she heard the rumors, and offers him the location of a gold boss. The woman offers the location for 100 days, and says payment is only due after confirmation. Sombra asks which boss it is, and she replies that it's the Plague Bearer, a poisonous monster. He confirms that this monster is indeed gold level and prepares to follow the girl. She warns him that the boss drains life, but he just needs to kill it very quickly. She leads him to a cave and warns that the boss is inside, but her team couldn't handle it. With that, they both enter the cave's darkness to find the monster right away. After walking for a bit, she points down, finally showing where the boss is hidden. Down below, they find a giant, sinister tree floating with a green, poisonous aura. Shadow then pays the 100 days, thinking he can dodge the poison with his high evasion. But the woman gets nervous and warns him that it's a trap meant to kill him by surprise. He doesn't seem to care much about the warning, and she says there's another problem. Then she reveals that the plan was to get close to him to find out his real-life information. Shadow thinks the whole plan is crap and doesn't seem the least bit impressed. She explains that she was forced into it, and that she also wants to see the mastermind behind this whole story dead. He asks who's behind everything, and she reveals it's a guy named Dongfang Xian. He remembers the guy, the same one who tried to steal the boss and gave him a skill book. Desperate, she begs him to kill the guy, since he managed to take down Song Fay. He finds the plan childish and says he'll kill the boss first, as if nothing happened. Then Shadow decides to use their own plan against them, preparing to turn the tables. The woman panics, as Shadow is walking straight to his death, since the last team died in seconds. She thinks about running away, because even if he's strong, the area of effect poison will surely kill him, but he activates a skill called Blessed Release and charges forward without worrying about the damage. Then, Shadow activates Throat Slit, aiming for the monster's weak spot to deal more damage. He then becomes a ghostly blur, preparing to use his most powerful attack at once. With a devastating combo, he unleashes an absurd amount of damage through several critical hits. The boss's health drops brutally, showing that the fight is practically over for it. The girl's jaw drops, unable to believe he dealt over 80,000 damage. Shadow then stands still in the middle of the poison, calmly waiting for his skill's cooldowns. He uses his teleport again and vanishes from the spot, leaving only a small light behind. Shadow announces he won't kill the boss now. He'll wait for the enemy team to arrive and die. At that moment, the enemies appear, and their leader orders everyone into the cave to kill the boss. The group of henchmen then charges forward, ready to eliminate anyone without mercy. As planned, the girl prepares to hold off the 10 players by herself for a while. To do this, she summons a giant golden shield, ready to withstand the incoming onslaught. The enemy attacks with full force, but she defends herself with a very impressive golden shield. He thinks she got lucky, and found the rare item in a golden chest. But Shadow watches everything from a distance, waiting for the right moment to finally act from the shadows. Then, he uses his shadow cut, attacking all the enemies from behind at once. With absurd speed, he dashes past them all, and they fall to the ground without even understanding what happened. He then activates his golden eyes and prepares the curse of flowers that bloom in the darkness. The ability consumes the enemy's bodies, creating a terrifying scene with flowers of fire. The girl is relieved, because if she had followed the plan, she would have met the same end. She asks to be added as a friend, promising to tell him where Dongfangxian really lives later. With other intentions, she offers special services, saying that for him, it's always free. Shadow understands how she survives and teleports away without even giving her an answer. Back at the boss, he finishes off the monster, gaining experience and another 500 days of life. He finds it ironic that the boss gave him more life than all the players who died. Seeing that she's still there, he asks if she wants something, and the girl runs away, scared. With the area finally clear, he picks up the boss's loot, a skeletal golden hand. He comments that it's been a while since he's seen an assassin's grimoire, excited by his luck. The card reveals a platinum assassin skill that unleashes black light, blinds enemies, and requires a high level. Perfect. He decides to learn the skill without hesitation, his body becoming covered in a golden glow. Then he feels the energy coursing through him, saying that even without stealth, he could still deal absurd damage. The screen shows Shadow's platinum dagger, which deals explosive toxin damage. Satisfied, he comments that it was a great day and that he's close to evolving his skill. With that, he decides to hunt some weak monsters to get the remaining experience he needs. The protagonist then uses a skill that sucks in all the bizarre monsters on the beach at once. With the enemies defeated, a shower of golden energy begins to fall on him. He breathes a sigh of relief, as he can finally undergo the class advancement he's been waiting for. With that, a vortex of golden power forms around him, initiating the evolution. A system notification pops up, announcing that his shadow class has just advanced. It's shown that he has reached the first tier, with a huge attribute bonus. His body is enveloped in a powerful aura, as new passive abilities appear. He explains that his attributes have tripled, and now he can even stay in stealth forever. Impressed, Qinfeng realizes how strong his secret class is, even at the beginning. Looking at the rankings, he sees his name in first place and recognizes other players from the past. He thinks that his actions have already started to change the course of the game's history. Suddenly, a notice appears in the sky, announcing a teleport in 10 minutes. The scene cuts to the real world, showing the city's skyscrapers at night. We see a hooded criminal being handcuffed and led away by several police officers on the street. An officer reports that members of a criminal group have been arrested, but 3 are still in the game. The commander then orders on you to find a way to force the suspects to log off. They comment that it's a good method, since hunger in the real world will force them to come out. The chief is grateful, as the mission's success is largely due to the information provided by Shadow. It's explained that his help prevented a disaster that caused thousands of deaths in other countries. With this, the officer realizes Shadow's value and says they need to recruit him no matter what. The scene shifts back to the game, now in a city with more classic, ancient architecture. Suddenly, An Yu appears and praises Shadow, who cuts her off and asks what she wants. She explains that the officials cleared his name, stating that Song Fay's death was a mission. He understands the move, but focuses on his priority and decides to go to the god-forsaken continent. He then notices that many players use the local teleport, but not the continental one. Without hesitation, he steps onto the teleportation platform, because this is where the game truly begins. Other players are completely shocked, not expecting to see anyone activate the portal. The players wonder who used the portal, because even with anti-stealth, they can't see anyone. Then, Shadow emerges in a flash of light, materializing on the new continent. He looks around and confirms that the place is exactly the same as in his past life. The landscape he sees is the ruins of Zhanghai City, a very familiar scene. It's explained that this map is a copy of the real city, a mystery that was never solved. Suddenly, he senses approaching danger and snaps his head around. A giant, bizarre monster with multiple eyes appears out of nowhere right in front of him. The creature attacks with its sharp tail, shattering the ground with a violent impact. But the protagonist uses his skill and dodges the blow with impressive speed. Immediately after, he counterattacks with a shadow cut and defeats the monster instantly. But the danger isn't over, as several similar creatures burst from underground. Shadow leaps high into the air, escaping the surprise attack that came from all directions. In the air, he activates a new skill, becoming enveloped in a powerful red aura. With this, he unleashes a stronger version of his cut, annihilating all the monsters. Floating, he concludes that there are no more safe zones here. Danger is everywhere. He remembers that the best shelter in the region is to the northwest, amidst the ruined buildings. With that, he explains that finding these shelters is the key to dominating the area. Shadow then flies in the right direction, as that was the shelter of his former guild. Elsewhere in the city, a giant statue stands out amidst the destruction. At its base, a group of players has just been teleported to this new map. The group is impressed and confused, wondering why the place looks like a modern city. One of the girls then recognizes the place, pointing to a famous building that's still standing. She starts looking for Sombra, but her friend warns that he can just disappear. Suddenly, Wang Meng shouts for everyone to be careful, as monsters have appeared out of nowhere. Hei Bulin Lizi acts fast, casting a protection spell on her companion's shield. The ugly creatures charge forward, ready to attack the group without mercy. One of the monsters hits Wang Meng's shield head-on, dealing heavy damage and pushing him back. The mage then warns that even the normal monsters here are stronger than before. Seeing the situation, Lizzie jumps and prepares a containment shot with her magic bow. The energy arrow hits the monster squarely, pinning the creature in place. She yells that the monster is weak to crowd control, telling everyone to attack with everything they've got. With the opening created, the other mage in the group prepares her prophetic fireball. The attack hits the target dead on, causing a huge explosion in the middle of the street. The group celebrates their victory, relieved to have defeated the monsters that appeared. Worried, Wang Meng asks the blonde mage to use her owl to scout the area. The owl then reports that the place is crawling with monsters. More of them are on their way. The group panics upon learning there's no safe zone, turning the situation into a survival game. The red-haired mage suggests they try to find Sombra, as he must be nearby. While flying, the owl doesn't find anyone, but suddenly it spots something different. It sees a loot drop to the northwest, and they conclude that Sombra must have left it behind. Just then, more monsters appear in the distance, forcing the group to move out quickly. Suddenly, An Yu appears and shouts for them to follow the trail of items, as it's a safe path. The group gets organized, deciding to fall back while fighting to avoid being surrounded. Several silhouettes of creatures emerge from the shadows, showing that the danger is only increasing. The scene cuts to Sombra, who destroys another horde of monsters with his shadow slashes. He looks at the drops, thinking this place is a paradise for farming, since the mobs die so easily. Finally, he reaches a crosswalk and announces that they've arrived at the hideout. The protagonist reveals that there's a palace underneath, discovered much later in his past life. He explains that this giant underground palace was the base of his former guild. Before it was conquered, the place served as a dungeon filled with mechanical monsters. In his past life, he and 18 elite players nearly failed to conquer the palace. But this time is different, and a notification confirms he has reached the hideout. The place is known as the Soul Purification Land, and it's filled with floating spirits. With a confident look, he says that now, he alone is enough to conquer it all. Several dark monsters with glowing eyes suddenly appear before our hero. The entire room is surrounded by level 12 elemental spirits, ready to attack. Fearlessly, he faces one of the creatures, preparing to start clearing the area. He then uses his ability, plunging all enemies into absolute darkness. With the monsters completely blinded by his technique, the real fight is about to begin. He then activates his Shadow Slash, unleashing several beams of light throughout the hall. The protagonist moves like a shadow, slicing through enemies who can't even see what's happening. His ability cuts down all the monsters in mid-air, giving them no chance to defend. He explains that with the mobs blinded, his attacks deal extra damage and kill them instantly. After clearing the 15 monsters, he comments that this is a huge task, with many rooms ahead. Seeing so many monsters around, he realizes he can evolve his greedy hand again if he clears everything. He moves through another hall, explaining that after defeating all the small monsters in the area, the Guardian boss will appear. It materializes before him as a colossus of blue energy. The scene changes, showing two other players being teleported to a different location. They materialize in the middle of a completely destroyed street, unable to understand what's going on. Confused, the girl asks if this is the new continent, as the place looks familiar. Then they look ahead and are shocked to see the ruins of New York City. Elsewhere, two more players appear, but now in the rainy ruins of London. Another group also shows up, confirming they are in the famous English city. With this, they realize that everyone has been sent to the ruins of their own city. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake, and they sense a huge danger coming from below. Several bizarre monsters erupt from the earth, and one guy yells for them to run as fast as they can, but it was too late. One of the monsters attacks, making the players scream in fear. The scene returns to the ruins of Jianghai, showing the area Sombra cleared earlier. Wang Meng's group finds a safe spot, and he tells everyone to rest for a bit. An Yu praises Sombra, making Wang Meng feel awkward for just being left behind. The red-haired mage says they were lucky, otherwise they would have all died and been sent back to the start. Wang Meng then suggests they wait for everyone to reach level 10 so they can explore together. The owl flies over the city, finding it strange that the monsters were killed in order and noticing all the loot. Wang Meng then decides to contact Sombra to ask if he still wants the items. Meanwhile, Sombra continues his cleanup, cutting down 2 spirits with a single blow. With a golden glow, a notification announces that all minions have been eliminated from the area. He has already killed over 400 monsters and a few bosses, earning many evolution points. Just then, Wang Meng sends a message, telling him they've picked up the items he left behind. Sombra realizes the group has arrived and replies that he'll sell them some equipment later. Suddenly, the hall's floor begins to shake, with blue blue energy emerging from the statues. The power takes over everything, and the protagonist floats as lightning erupts all around. He turns with a serious look and confirms it. The palace guardian has finally appeared. A level 15 platinum golem emerges, the final boss protecting the soul purification land. The protagonist recalls that this boss has 750,000 health and 3 different battle phases. Before, he barely survived, but now he says he won't even need to endure its hits. Without hesitation, he charges forward and uses his instant shadow slash on the guardian. The attack hits the boss squarely, shattering a piece of its blue energy armor. He uses the throat slit skill, hitting the boss dead on and causing massive damage, but the guardian retaliates instantly, conjuring a powerful lightning bolt from the ceiling. With that, the protagonist has to dodge a relentless shower of electrical attacks. It's explained that the boss's accuracy is high, giving it a 50% chance to hit, but with his insane agility, he manages to move faster than the lightning and dodge. He remembers that in his past life, he survived by pure luck and with the help of a priest. This time, however, Sombra declares he won't give the boss any room to breathe. With a quick combo, he shaves off 250,000 of the boss's health, forcing it into Phase 2. The Guardian becomes invincible and summons 3 lightning orbs, which float around it. He recalls that his team was decimated by this skill, traumatizing Qin Xiaoyu. So, to avoid the danger, he throws a poison dart at one of the energy orbs. It's revealed that destroying the orbs deals direct damage to the soul purifier, bypassing its invincibility. Knowing this, he moves in to destroy all 3 and trigger the 3rd phase of the fight. The orb explodes on impact, and the boss feels the damage, its eyes glowing fiercely. Enraged, the Guardian unleashes a massive electric shockwave across the entire area. Phase 3 begins, and Sombra explains that the floor is now covered in continuous lightning. But he declares that in this life, he won't need to struggle so much to win. To escape the damage, he simply begins to float safely in the middle of the hall. He then activates his shadow light shield, preparing to attack the boss from the air. Seeing the ground covered in lightning, Qin Feng announces he'll attack from the air. To defend against the imminent attack, he activates his dark light shield. His eyes completely focused on the battle, he prepares to counter with full force. Then, he uses instant shadow slash, an EX skill, to finish off his enemy. The blow is fatal, and the system confirms the soul purifier has been defeated. He celebrates his achievement, as he is now the master of the soul purification land. It's explained that the hideout offers protection and can be taken to the real world. This is because the deadliest weapons, like nuclear bombs, became useless on the first day. In other words, future battles in the real world will depend entirely on power from the game. Qin Feng then falls silent, just observing his new and valuable territory. He remembers that in his past life, his guild used this place as a base to expand, but this time, he affirms he won't follow the same path and will grow on his own. The scene then shifts to a dark forest, where a heavy rain begins to fall. Out of nowhere, a giant, monstrous creature wielding a massive axe appears in the rain. The monster attacks, causing Chu Yuan and her companion to scream desperately for help. With no chance to defend, Chu Yuan is struck squarely by the axe and dies instantly. She then respawns in the city, but the system informs her that she has lost 14 years of her life. Qin Xiaoyu is in shock from having died, while the tank yells at her for not dodging. She argues with him, but he gets angry with the situation and simply abandons the group. At that moment, Chu Yuan yells to Xiaoyu that the tank has fled and the boss is coming after her. And just like that, she is also defeated and ends up respawning next to her friend. Scared, Chu Yuan suggests they farm weak monsters to recover their lost life. Suddenly, a global announcement informs everyone that Shadow was the first to kill a platinum boss. Other players are shocked by the news, having no idea who this Shadow is. The 2 friends are also in disbelief, since they can barely kill a silver boss. Qin Xiaoyu becomes furious, wondering how that guy managed such a great feat. The scene then returns to the boss's hideout, now silent and under Qin Feng's control. He explains that he has reached level 11 and gained attribute points to distribute. With his evolution points, he upgrades his greedy hand skill to the legendary level. Satisfied, he celebrates the increased bonus loot and the 100 new storage slots. With his new legendary greedy hand, he prepares to collect all the rewards. He analyzes the loot, but notices some items are high level and decides to store them for now. Using his power, Qin Feng summons a devout follower to help collect the items. He then orders the creature to gather all the loot scattered throughout the palace in one place. Thoughtfully, he comments that he still has evolution points to upgrade his other skills. With that, he improves Stealth, Stab, and Absolute Darkness Moment. And most importantly, he upgrades the Flower's Curse to the legendary level. He's shocked to see the skill can now absorb non-tradable life orbs. This is a god-tier ability, as he'll now never run out of this type of life. Suddenly, An Yu appears, congratulating him and informing him that Dongfang Xian has logged off. She reveals that his family is at a restaurant and is going to convert life into combat power. Qin Feng praises her good work, while the servant finishes gathering the pile of loot. He stores everything, commenting on how useful the 100 storage slots are. The scene changes to a city, where 2 girls are surprised to see Shadow arriving, and Yu runs towards him, calling out to her boss with joy in her eyes. With no time for small talk, Qin Feng tells her he'll set the prices and she can sell the common items. And Yu happily agrees and offers 2,000 days of life for the other items they got. He then sells platinum equipment, leaving An Yu shocked at how rich he is. Seeing their full inventories, he gives them a tip about a secret teleport to the starting village, but he warns that it costs 500 days of life to return, and then he says goodbye and leaves. An Yu is euphoric, telling her friend that Shadow must be a reincarnated person. With a mischievous look, she even considers trying to flirt with him to gain an advantage. Her idea leaves the other two group members completely speechless and embarrassed. Alone, Qin Feng walks through the ruined city, ready for the next step of his plan. The system then asks if he wants to sacrifice life to synchronize his skills in the real world. He sacrifices 27,000 days, and now focuses on extracting and upgrading the skills he needs. With that, he spends thousands of days of life to acquire various assassin skills. The synchronization is complete, and he spends even more life to bring over his equipment. Now, his power in the real world is almost equal to the power he has inside the game. Even so, he knows he needs to gather more life for a complete synchronization. The scene changes, and we see Qin Feng logged out, sitting alone in his dark room. Worried, he decides he needs to find a temporary base, as Chen Shishi knows where he lives. With a determined look, he prepares to get out of there as quickly as possible. To make things easier, he activates Greedy Hand to store all of his belongings. He finds the storage ability super convenient, packing everything away in the blink of an eye. With that, he jumps out the window and confirms that his target, Dongfang Xian, is 15 kilometers away. Looking at the building, he starts to calculate the route and the time it will take to get there. At his current speed, he knows that 10 minutes are more than enough to reach his target. At high speed, Qin Feng moves through the dark city streets toward his target. He finally arrives in front of the Jiangnan restaurant, the Dongfang family's hideout. Inside, the grandfather praises his grandson for his good work in accumulating strength in the game. Dongfang Xian replies with false humility, saying it was just his family duty. The old man then explains that they bought a lot of life to acquire equipment and skills. The goal is to level up as quickly as possible and expand the family's influence in the real world. But inwardly, Dongfang Xian plans to kill them all as soon as he becomes number one. At that moment, the grandfather asks about the progress of the situation involving the player named Shadow. The grandson assures him that he has already found a woman to discover Shadow's identity and capture him alive. While they toast to their success, Qin Feng has already invaded the place, taking down the guards. He is surprised to see the family was armed and knows he needs to be careful. To avoid risks, he summons his devout follower to lead the attack against them. Qin Feng orders the creature to go in and kill everyone, leaving no survivors. The follower then bursts into a room, startling a couple who were enjoying their night. The noise alerts everyone in the main hall, who scream in terror at the monster's appearance. With a terrifying roar, the devout follower charges at everyone in the room. Dongfang Xian recognizes the monster from the game and desperately yells for his guards to shoot. But the bullets have no effect, and the creature continues to advance relentlessly. Then, the follower attacks with a green flame, hitting one of the security guards directly. It grabs another guard by the neck, who screams in pain and terror at the sight. In a short time, all the men are defeated, leaving Dongfang Xian in a total panic. His grandfather is caught by the creature and begs for help, but his grandson shows no reaction. Cowardly, Dongfang Xian ignores his grandfather and runs off to save his own skin. All he can think about is escaping and logging into the game, where he believes he'll be safe. His plan is to reach level 10, extract his powers, and come back for revenge. Suddenly, a dark energy envelops him, stopping his escape abruptly. He is lifted into the air and turned upside down, unable to understand what's happening. Utterly confused and bloodied, he stares into the void, not knowing what hit him. The image of Qin Feng then appears as his enemy's body begins to disintegrate. In his final moments, Dongfang Xian tries to say the name of his killer, Shadow. Qin Feng then activates his most powerful skill, the Flower's Curse, on his enemies. The ability absorbs all the life from the targets, and the system confirms the years harvested. With a satisfied smile, he observes the result and celebrates the huge reward he's obtained. The skill's red energy consumes the skeleton of its latest victim on the floor. Qin Feng reflects that the flower curse doesn't just erase bodies, it absorbs all life. He now has over 2,000 years of non-negotiable life, which puts him at ease. Outside, he hears the panicked restaurant staff shouting for someone to call the police. Just then, police officers arrive in a hurry, announcing that the Dongfang family was inside. But upon entering the room, they realize something is very wrong with the crime scene. One of the officers shouts in shock. The room is a mess, but there's no one there. Outside, Qin Feng slips away unseen, leaving the police completely baffled. Walking through the city, he decides his next target is now the powerful Qian group. He needs to eliminate the president's daughter, Qian Shishi, before she flees the country. But the distance is nearly 300 kilometers, which would be a huge waste of time on foot. So he sits in a hotel room and concludes he needs to find a way to get a mount. To do this, he logs back into the game and is greeted by the welcome screen. Once in the game, he plans to hunt some of the remaining silver and gold bosses, but suddenly, an ecstatic An Yu appears, shouting that she has great news for him. Anu tells him they found a tomb, but a gold-ranked ghost is guarding the entrance. She explains they were dodging some monsters when they suddenly noticed someone was missing. After searching, they discovered that Xiao Hei had accidentally fallen into a pit. Inside, a level 12 gold boss chased them, and they fled the area in a panic. Qin Feng is shocked by her luck, discovering a rare tomb with a single misstep. He asks for the coordinates, and Anu cleverly asks him to sell her any items he doesn't use. With the information in hand, our protagonist heads straight to the location she indicated. He looks at the pit, finding it unbelievable that Xiao Hei is talented enough to fall in there. Without a second thought, Shadow leaps resolutely into the tomb's darkness. He lands below in the Tomb of Resentment, and the system blocks all communication. He then advances through the dark place, and soon sees the boss's red eyes glowing in the distance. The creature senses his presence, letting out a low, menacing growl. Then the vengeful ghost reveals itself. A giant, level 12, gold-ranked monster. Qin Feng faces it, commenting that he never encountered this boss in his past life. He understands the group's panic, as the monster can destroy a tanker in a single blow. He knows the situation is dangerous. If he gets hit by this monster, it's all over. Without hesitation, he uses graceful release, activating his instant shadow cut. The blow hits the boss's throat, but its defense is so high that the damage is reduced. To Qin Feng's surprise, the monster's arm begins to regenerate instantly. He realizes the enemy is about to do something and shouts that this is not good. Just then, the monster explodes its own body, launching a wave of energy and debris. With great agility, Qin Feng manages to dodge the attack, escaping by a hair's breadth. He's startled by the explosion, and says that luckily, his stealth saved him from death. It's explained that in his past life, many players died to this surprise ability. Using Greedy Hand, he collects the loot, and the system confirms the ghost's death. He's quite satisfied, having obtained a piece of equipment and a skill book he can use. The new skill is Dark Knight Ring Blade, an assassin ability. Seeing that it's an elemental skill, he decides to evolve it to the epic level right away. After the evolution, he notes that the attack radius and bonus damage have increased significantly. For clearing small monsters, he concludes this new ability is simply divine. He compares the skills, explaining that the new one is circular, perfect for when he's surrounded. Then he equips the Resentment armor, which is much better than his old one. Seeing more than 20 loot items, he hopes to find a mount inside the tomb. A goblin charges forward, preparing to strike the group with its sharp sword. Desperate, Qin Xiaoyu and her friend Chu Yuan scream as they see the attack coming toward them. But suddenly, the entire team is teleported back, appearing in the resurrection circles. Completely frustrated with the defeat, a young man named Zhang Wei starts screaming in pure rage. He then confronts Xiaoyu, yelling that she's brainless and always messes everything up. Angrily, he shoves her hard to the ground. The coward then walks away, leaving the girl on the ground as her friend rushes to help. Chu Yuan consoles her, inviting Xiaoyu to go with her to her parents' city, but she refuses the invitation, asking her friend to go on ahead as her body vanishes from the game. The scene shifts to the real world, where Xiaoyu is lying in her bed, completely downcast. She then picks up her phone and sees a message from a guy offering to help her level up. But the offer is disgusting. He wants one night with her in exchange for a single level. She ignores it and messages another guy, saying she can be with him now that her brother isn't around. The guy, however, just laughs in her face, calling her an idiot for pushing her brother away. Alone and devastated, she curls up in bed, remembering she only has 1 month left to live. Full of regret, she curls up in bed and whispers her brother's name, Qin Feng. She then convinces herself that he can help her, and decides she needs to find him. The scene cuts to a luxury apartment building, showing where the young man currently lives. Already in her school uniform, Qin Xiaoyu arrives at his apartment door. She thinks about apologizing, but her pride makes her question why she should. So the girl comes up with a plan: pretend to be obedient just so he'll help her in the game. With a fake smile, she finalizes her plan and starts knocking on the door, calling out to him. She knocks and calls for Qin Feng several times, but gets no answer. Losing patience, she gets annoyed and uses her ability to break down the door with a single blow. But upon entering, she's shocked. His room is completely empty, with no furniture. Desperate, she tries to call him, but the call goes straight to voicemail. She's left completely confused, wondering where on earth her brother could have gone. Meanwhile, in the Tomb of Resentment, Shadow was easily annihilating monsters. After a long journey, he finally reaches the end of the dungeon. Almost at level 12, he prepares to open the coffin, expecting a very strong boss. With all his strength, Shadow begins to push the coffin lid open. His gaze is watchful, already anticipating the danger that is sure to emerge from within. And out of nowhere, black smoke with blue lightning bursts from the coffin, attacking a nearby monster. The dark energy spreads throughout the room, taking on a menacing form. The monster that was there is swallowed by the smoke, destroyed in a matter of seconds. Shadow then realizes he's in trouble. It was a gold-ranked boss immune to physical attacks. He remembers that in his past life, someone accidentally freed this same boss. As a result, the miasma spread to the nearest base, causing many deaths in the process. But now he knows the secret, because he knows the monster's true form. With that, he prepares his magic ability, the Dark Knight Ring Blade. It's explained to us that the boss's real form is a disgusting plant hidden in the smoke, and this plant attacks Shadow with one of its tentacles, trying to hit him squarely, but he easily defeats the gold boss. slicing the plant with his magic attack. He celebrates his luck in learning a magic skill and prepares to grab the loot. Using his greedy hand, he pulls the items, thinking he'd only get gold-ranked gear, but to his surprise, he gets a rare item, a bell capable of summoning a mount. He's thrilled with his luck, scoring a rare mount right off the bat. Using the bell, Sombra summons the Night Ghost Wolf, one of the fastest mounts in the game. The wolf isn't just a mount, it also fights. It's a battle pet with stealth and buff abilities. The scene then cuts back to the city, now blanketed in darkness. Soaring through the sky, Sombra crosses the city on his swift new companion. Their speed is impressive, leaving only a trail of blue light wherever they pass. His focus is now on leveling up, so he can hunt down Qianshishi for revenge after he logs off. Flying over the buildings, he searches for the best place to level up quickly. He soon finds his destination, the Jianghai Arena, a massive place teeming with monsters. With his target in sight, he flies at full speed toward the battle arena. Then, he lands on top of the arena, which is already being patrolled by a powerful guard. To him, this place is a paradise for the strong and a true hell for the weak. On the roof, he and his wolf prepare to face a group of elite guardians. With his golden eyes glowing in the night, he readies his attack. In the blink of an eye, he uses Shadow Slash, easily taking down the first enemy. The scene takes us to a ruined city sometime after the last events. There we see Captain An Yu, the execution of justice, finishing off a werewolf monster with her sword. With the enemy on the ground, she and her group celebrate winning another battle. A guy named Ma Nieliang praises her damage output, saying she's the perfect woman for him. He complains that it took them 10 minutes to kill a gold rank boss, while Sombra soloed a platinum rank one, and Yu then mocks him, saying that as an archer he's perfect for attacking from a distance. Another guy says he heard Sombra is ruthless, and that he knows a cop who can track him down. The archer suggests they find out Sombra's identity so they can finally control him, and Yu and the other group members stay quiet, just looking at each other without a word. But suddenly they both burst out laughing, finding the archer's idea completely idiotic. She says she doesn't understand why he'd want to antagonize a guy who can solo platinum rank bosses. The archer flushes red, calling Sombra a fragile and cowardly assassin. Furious, he vows to ruin Sombra's reputation and make Yu beg him for forgiveness. They ignore his little show, commenting that Sombra keeps dropping good items in their path. The warrior then turns to Captain An, telling her he's a bit worried about the situation. He recalls the case of the Dongfang family, who mysteriously disappeared from a restaurant a while ago, and Yu wonders if Sombra is behind it and if he's a killer in real life. Her partner points out there's no evidence connecting Sombra to the case, but with a smirk, she says she'd still choose to work with him and clean up his messes. Suddenly, a soldier arrives shouting that they found a gladiator arena, but it's empty. He reports that the ground is covered in bodies, with no idea which team did all the clearing. Excited by the news, Captain An Yu calls everyone to go take a look. When they get there, they're met with the sight of hundreds of glowing item drops scattered across the ground. The group stares in disbelief. She says it must have been Sombra, and that they need to find him. The warrior then explains that he's sure of it, because Sombra is #1 on the server rankings. The archer gets irritated and yells into the open, asking the big shot to sell them some items. He keeps screaming like a madman, trying to get the attention of whoever cleared the area. And just like that, Sombra appears right behind him, mounted on his giant phantom wolf. The guy stumbles back, terrified of the creature that just materialized in front of him. And Yu, on the other hand, is fascinated. She asks Sombra where he got such an amazing mount. Sombra explains that he got it from the tomb, thanking them for the coordinates they provided. He gives a special thanks to Xiao He, who gets all happy and flustered by the shout-out. He then proposes a deal. She can take every single item on the ground. The captain then notices the archer, who actually wet himself out of fear of the wolf. Completely humiliated, the guy swears revenge, yelling that Sombra hasn't seen the last of him. Ignoring the drama, Sombra simply leaves, flying through the skies on his mount. Now at level 13, he checks his status and sees he got a good skill book. The new skill is Silent Stealth, which makes him permanently invisible if he stands still. Excited, he decides to evolve the skill to Epic, allowing him to vanish even in the real world. With his points, he upgrades his dagger and the Mythic skill, which now hits weak spots. He also equips a new necklace, the Liar's Pendant, which boosts his stats. With all this, his stealth reaches level 4, and his evasion rate climbs to 83%. But suddenly, a huge explosion erupts in the middle of the city, catching his attention. He stops in midair with his wolf, watching what's happening from a distance. And from the flames, the silhouette of a giant monster begins to form between the buildings. It was a bizarre skeletal creature, with chains attached to its blade-like arms. Sombra is shocked, wondering which madman summoned the Steel Saint. He remembers that in his past life, over 4,000 players died trying to kill her. In fact, she is the guardian of the church's sanctuary, and he decides he will kill her now. With his new goal in mind, he and his wolf charge straight for the boss. In the ruined city, the Steel Saint attacks a group of players with her giant blade. The archer despairs upon seeing her weapon, shouting that it's sharp and deadly. With one blow, the creature sends the guy flying, and he screams in pain from the impact. Sombra watches it all, thinking that fighting the boss now would be too arrogant of him. But suddenly, he recognizes one of the players, the knight Chen Wuming, riding a white tiger. He remembers his rival from his past life, a treacherous guy who always ran away before he could lose. In that life, It was Chen Wuming's guild that defeated the Saint and dominated this area. His guild was cruel, forcing members to sign lifelong slavery contracts. Seeing the perfect chance, Sombra declares that this time, Chen Wuming won't be able to escape. While the enemy guild is focused on the fight, he prepares to launch his attack. Using his stealth, he approaches the group without anyone noticing his presence. With his eyes glowing red, he uses the blade of the Night Ring to attack everyone. And in an instant, a vortex of energy kills several players from the enemy guild at once. Chen Wuming is shocked and shouts, asking why Sombra killed his team for no reason. Sombra then appears beside him and gives a nonsensical answer that leaves his rival confused. Without wasting time, Sombra uses his instant Shadow Slash to finish off his rival. He then watches the bodies on the ground as his cursed ability begins to take effect. From the dead players, the curse of the blooming flower drains all their life energy. Far away, the entire guild respawns at the revival point, completely bewildered. Chen Wuming is furious, while one of his men shouts that his tradable life has hit 0. Scared, the rest of the group suggests retreating to level up elsewhere and make up for lost time. But among them, Qin Xiaoyu cries in despair, as her life is almost over. Sombra receives the skill notification and wonders if the girl was really his sister. He realizes she became a slave to the guild and thinks it serves her right. With that, he turns his attention back to the boss, easily dodging its spinning blade. The monster's weapon slams into the ground, narrowly missing the target and kicking up dust. He then uses his phantom shadow to get closer, as the first phase isn't difficult. The Steel Saint is confused for a moment, not knowing where her enemy has gone. Suddenly, her metal shell shatters, revealing a new, much more agile form. Now in her second phase, she spins her chains, preparing a powerful area of effect attack. The Steel Saint begins to swing her chains, relentlessly attacking everything around her. Sombra watches calmly, noticing that her attacks are repetitive and quite predictable. It's explained that she uses the Plague Blade and Graceful Release, 2 physical attacks. With that, he charges forward, hitting several weak spots in succession with his dagger. He then uses the Throat Slit skill, dealing critical damage and piercing her neck. With the attack, Sombra manages to tear off a piece of the metal base covering the creature. The monster lets out a scream of pure agony, feeling the devastating power of the blow. But Sombra already knew that the real danger was her terrifying second phase. At half health, she awakens a demonic power that reflects all damage taken. On the rooftop, a player comments in shock that Sombra was brutal, pushing the boss to phase 2. Another explains that Sombra appeared out of nowhere and took half the boss's HP with a single skill. Meanwhile, Qin Feng faces the monster head-on, silently analyzing the situation. He knows that in the second phase, the boss has a weakness and her damage reflection disappears. The problem is, his skills deal damage over time, so he'd die from his own attack. Then, he looks at the group on the rooftop and thinks he might be able to use them to his advantage. Suddenly, a new warrior arrives on the scene asking to check things out. One of the team members gets excited, calling him Big Brother Safety. The girl explains that the boss froze when it changed phases, and Sombra vanished right after. So the leader asks Xiao Tu to use a skill to check if Sombra is still around. With that, she transforms into a magical rabbit, surrounded by a green energy aura. The rabbit dashes at high speed across the area, running under the giant monster. She returns and says there's no sign of him, as it would be impossible for him to have level 4 stealth. But suddenly the girl whips around, startled by a sound from behind her. It was just her leader, who tells her to keep an eye out in case Sombra decides to rejoin the fight. On the rooftop, a guy says the warrior is crazy, trying to solo a titanium-class boss. The other player recognizes him as Safety First, a famous player known for his insane reflexes. With her red eyes glowing, the boss glares at the new challenger with pure rage. Then she strikes with her giant blade, trying to cut the warrior in half with a single swing. But the player remains calm, already preparing to dodge the imminent attack. He perfectly rolls to the side, escaping the blow that carves a crater in the ground. The boss doesn't give up, and now uses her multiple arms to attack the warrior again. With great agility, he keeps rolling and shouting Yahoo, dodging everything. The hero evades every lunge, showcasing an extraordinary dodging ability. The crowd on the rooftop goes wild, impressed by his precise rolls and his composure. A spectator comments that he dodges everything, but wonders why the boss's health is dropping. The girl from the group explains that dodging is just the basics. His real power is in his attack. She continues, saying that as long as he successfully dodges by rolling, his next attack will ignore half the enemy's defense, and she smiles excitedly. With that, the warrior gathers energy, preparing to unleash his most powerful strike. The crowd on the rooftop is impressed by the effect, and one of them bets the damage is over 1,000. With a smile of pure confidence, the warrior prepares to release all his power. He lunges forward with his special technique, unleashing a flurry of strikes that look like shooting stars. The final attack is a precise execution, a sword strike that promises to end it all in one blow. From above, the girl points out that without anyone noticing, the boss's health has already dropped to 1/3. The warrior then turns around proudly and announces that this is his sword style. He gives one last victorious smile, already celebrating the fight he was sure he had won. But suddenly, he starts taking an absurd amount of damage, all of it reflected back at him. The team on the rooftop panics, desperately shouting Big Brother Safety's name. They don't understand what's happening, since the boss's HP didn't drop from his last attack. The scene cuts to Sombra, who was hidden this whole time, letting out a faint laugh. Thanks to Safety First's little show, the boss ended up using a bunch of its skills. And in the meantime, Sombra used the distraction to attack and lower the boss's health. He concludes that the warrior was good, but his class can't handle the reflected damage. The boss then turns, finally noticing that Sombra had been there all along. Sombra notices the boss is low on health and trying to flee back to the church sanctuary. He knows the other warrior's death scared everyone and that the damage reflection won't disappear. This means there's no other way out and he'll have to go all in himself. Determined, Sombra runs and yells that there's no way he can let the boss return to the sanctuary. On the roof, the group realizes Sombra is the real big shot and the girl is stunned by his stealth level. One of the guys spots the fallen warrior's loot and with a malicious smile tells his friend to grab it. But Sombra is already preparing for the worst, activating a dark light shield with 10 layers of protection. The boss wastes no time, preparing her giant blades to slice up our hero. Seeing an opening, Sombra tells himself this is his chance to attack with everything he's got. With that, he uses his instant shadow slash, unleashing a sequence of brutal strikes. 3 of the 9 attacks were reflected, but his shield absorbed the damage, saving him from death. Furious, the boss concentrates purple energy in her chest, preparing a devastating area of effect attack. And then, she fires an absurd blast of fire, completely engulfing Sombra. The power is so immense that all the layers of his shield are instantly destroyed. He thinks he barely escaped death, as the attack was fast and shattered everything in an instant. Meanwhile, the player on the roof sneaks closer, trying to grab the loot on the ground. But just as he's about to touch the item, a green poison strikes his body. Sombra glares at him from a distance, warning him that he doesn't stand a chance of stealing his loot. Upon grabbing the loot, Sombra sees the warrior had a lot of lifetime, which he finds very interesting. Just then, the boss screams in pain and turns to him, preparing another attack with her shadow arms. He thinks that now he can only rely on his shield and basic attacks to wear her down slowly. The strategy is slow but safe, and he prepares for a long battle of attrition against the boss. The group above is freaking out, and one of them says he now understands how Sombra got the first kills. After a long fight, Sombra finally prepares to deliver the final blow and end the agony, and with one last powerful attack, he strikes the boss dead on, splitting her in 2. The system window confirms his victory, and the group on the roof is shocked that he soloed the boss. Sombra then uses his mythic skill, Greedy Hand, to secure extra loot from the battle. He gets a set of emerald armor, which is much better than the item he got from the last boss, and as a bonus, he also gets Assassin's Intuition, a skill to see hidden enemies. He doesn't think twice and immediately upgrades the skill to Legendary, now able to hit weak points for a bonus. With his remaining points, he improves his stealth, which now negates all damage upon dodging. But suddenly, Anyu comes running and asks what the boss dropped this time. She's shocked to see he reached level 13 in one night, and says his speed is insane. Sombra gives the guy a flick, who asks if he's alright, while Anyu laughs at the situation. He says he has new items to sell, and Anyu immediately offers 45,000 life days for everything. He then mentions he has something else to sell, and asks if they know about hideouts. Anyu gets excited and explains you can store supplies, and even activate a magic barrier. Sombra says what she knows is about the small ones, and she adds that the authorities haven't found any yet. With that, he shows her the key, and says she should understand how valuable a hideout is. He reveals the key is for the cathedral sanctuary, and tells her to discuss a price and come back later. Upon hearing the place is 800 mu, Anyu and her partner are completely shocked. She composes herself and says it's enough for everyone, then asks how much he plans to sell it for. He tells them to discuss it first, but thinks to himself that in his past life, it was worth 2,000 years of lifetime. And Yu agrees to inform her superiors, but asks for his help with one more thing. She explains that 7 gold bosses have teamed up, and that they'll pay him 10 years of lifetime to help. He finds it strange they can't handle it, and concludes there must be a catch. She gives a thumbs up and confirms he's right, because they killed one, but the monster revived. To make matters worse, the 7 monsters suddenly got stronger and wiped out their entire team in an instant. Sombra becomes thoughtful at the news, as a group of reviving bosses is a rare occurrence. He suspects the monsters are puppets of a cursed tablet, a chance he can't afford to miss. So he asks for the coordinates and heads to the location, thinking Anyu is quite generous for the extra cash. Sombra leaps from a tall building, moving through the city with supernatural agility. He sprints across the rooftops at high speed, passing a giant statue along the way. Suddenly, he stops mid-run, as if he sensed something was wrong. Down below, he sees a group of girls in the middle of a nasty, loud fight. One of them pulls Qin Zhaoyu's hair, screaming that she just joined the guild and is already trying to seduce the leader. The attacker keeps humiliating the girl, warning her to stay away or she'll tear her skin off. Just then, another girl arrives and lands a blow on the attacker, while Sombra watches everything from above. He realizes his sister is suffering in the guild and remembers solving this for her in his past life. The scene changes to show a giant's foot, and Sombra tells them to just experience life. It's explained that beneath the statue, there's a secret teleportation circle that most people don't know about, but the teleportation isn't free. The cost in days of life doubles with each trip. This is because the starting city evolves, monsters become bosses, and hidden treasures appear. Sombra stares at the message inviting him to teleport, and he accepts, even without knowing the destination. With that, the system consumes 500 days of his life, and the teleportation finally begins. Upon arriving, he finds the place bustling, but is struck by the fact that only elderly people are around. A player confronts an old woman, telling her she now has to pay what they agreed on for the help. The old woman gets furious and yells, asking if they still want money, thinking it was all for free. The young man explains they only want the share of life they agreed upon in their deal, but she plays dumb, yelling that she knows nothing about any deal and calls them shameless. They try to reason with her again, but the woman starts making a scene and screaming for help. Just then, Sombra appears behind her, grabs her by the shoulder, and calls her indecent. With a simple push, he throws her to the ground, leaving the other two players stunned. Then, the protagonist emerges from the shadows with a dagger, ready to end the commotion. A green liquid splatters everywhere, leaving the two young men completely shocked. He tells them her life is on the ground for them to take, adding that it was no big deal. The young man picks up the item and thanks the boss, as Sombra vanishes back into the darkness. He now understands that the Dream Sand River Guild originated in that city. We are told that in the beginning, the guild was a charity that helped the elderly for free, but it grew to become the largest in China, and Sombra thinks the world needs people like that. The scene then fades to black, revealing a sinister forest under the light of a full moon. A giant monster made of vines appears, roaring, with a green aura emanating from its body. The daughter then shouts for her mother to use magic, and the two prepare to attack together. But a warrior with a shield steps in front and manages to block the creature's electric attack. With that, he charges straight at the monster, preparing to strike back. The family celebrates their success, and the father says that together they can defeat the smaller monsters. As they walk, the mother asks about her daughter's friend who joined the Knights Sanctuary Guild. The girl explains that she invited her friend to their guild, but she ended up refusing the offer. The mother says she heard that guild's contract is for 30 years of slavery. The father says it's better this way, killing small monsters and retreating when a boss appears. But the daughter thinks Xiao Yu is stronger. After all, she has a secret profession. Suddenly, several ice arrows fly toward them from out of the darkness. The father is hit dead on by the attacks, taking massive and unexpected damage. He can't take it and dies instantly, leaving his wife and daughter completely devastated. Just then, an archer emerges and boasts about his damage, saying their guild is trash. The group's leader then approaches and orders the two to hand over all their lifespan. The girl panics and warns them that the government forbids killing other players here in the forest, but the leader scoffs, giving them only 3 seconds to stop talking nonsense. At that, the daughter yells for her mother to call for help on the guild channel while she tries to hold them off. Enraged, the villain shouts that they're tired of living and orders his men to attack with everything they've got. The mother positions herself to protect her daughter and prepares a spell against the two henchmen. With an energy ball, she manages to stop one of the men, who is thrown back by the impact. The daughter is completely confused, looking at her hand as if the magic wasn't her own. The group leader stammers in disbelief as a mysterious force stops his attack. He feels an icy hand grab his face and sees an energy blade right in front of him. And from the shadows, Sombra emerges, holding the man's head, leaving the girl in shock. 3 players are caught off guard, falling into a blue light trap on the ground. One of them panics, realizing all his tradable life has simply vanished. He decides to rush into battle, needing to gain more lifetime or he'll die. With a determined look, he prepares to do whatever it takes to survive. But suddenly, a pillar of golden light strikes him with full force, slamming him to the ground. Fallen and unable to move, they ask who is standing before them. Just then, the official hunters introduce themselves and demand the trio's information. Their leader is struck down by a strange ability that creates red flowers on his body. The scene cuts, and young Chu Yuan thanks Shadow for saving her. Shadow then reflects that the girl is quite brave, unlike Qin Xiaoyu. Elsewhere, Chu Yuan and her mother find a small sphere of light on the ground. They are surprised to realize it's the life dropped by the players. Because of this, they think the shadow specialist is actually a good person. The scene then shifts to a dark forest, with a large full moon in the sky. There, another group of players complains that Shadow is taking too long to arrive. The players there doubt Shadow can win, as the area's bosses revive endlessly. They then mention the divine slab, which gives equipment both a positive and a negative effect. It's explained they've already used 7 slabs to summon a ghost and kill a legendary boss. The problem is that some bosses are invisible, ending up killing unwary players. In other cases, the real boss is a hidden mage who keeps reviving the other monsters. Shadow observes the enemies, who not only revive but also gain a fury attribute afterward. Despite knowing the risk, he faces the monsters, deciding it's worth a shot. He then equips a pendant on a disciple to test the enemy's weakness. The disciple screams in pain and begins to channel a strange green energy. With a single blow, he attacks several monsters at once, dealing damage to all of them. One of the bosses is hit dead on, but a black shadow seems to protect it. This same dark energy strikes the disciple back, consuming him. And with that, the minion is defeated and falls to the ground, with no chance to fight back. Shadow understands they reflect damage and are twice as strong as normal. Seeing this, he uses his Night Ring blade and shouts for them all to die. With one precise strike, he slits the throats of all the enemies at once. But to his surprise, none of the defeated monsters dropped any reward items. Instead, their bodies begin to merge into a bizarre, shadowy mass. From this fusion, a new giant boss emerges with a grotesque appearance. He realizes that killing them all at the same time triggered the next phase of the challenge. He then sees the monster has symbols of an ancient script all over its body. He understands he needs to attack these symbols in a specific order to win. Without wasting time, Shadow charges forward and hits the first symbol on the creature's back. The blow lands perfectly, and the symbol begins to glow brightly from the impact. The monster screams in pain as a green energy starts to leak from its body. With that, the creature starts to melt and sinks into the water, leaving only a skull behind. Suddenly, the scene changes, and several giant coffins emerge from the flooded ground. The remains of the monsters he previously defeated begin to float toward the coffins. It's then revealed that this is the final phase, and he must fight near the tombs. Alone in the middle of the arena, he prepares for the last and most difficult challenge. With a determined look, he calls his enemies to battle, ready for whatever comes. The scene returns to the forest, where a loud noise startles all the birds. The players feel a great tremor and think the boss has entered rage mode. They were still complaining that Shadow hadn't shown up because the boss was impossible, but when they arrive, they're shocked to see the boss has simply vanished. Just then, a hunter tells them they can leave, as Shadow has already taken care of everything. The pair of players can't believe it, completely stunned by the news. They realize the boss was defeated in 10 minutes and their jaws drop. Far away, Shadow floats in the night, satisfied with his good loot. He gained evolution points and, most importantly, the Tablet of the Ancient God. The item is the cursed Tablet of Utos, which grants a random bonus and a penalty. So he decides to use the tablet on his armor to make it even stronger. A purple energy consumes him, and the curse increases his flame stacks to 15. With this power, he can even make a boss's defense negative. Satisfied, he now decides it's time to evolve one of his skills. With that, he upgrades Shadow Cut to legendary rank, gaining a shield. He celebrates, because if he lands all 9 hits, his effective health will be 10 times greater. At his current pace, he calculates he can head to the magic capital in 5 hours. The scene then cuts to a destroyed city with a giant statue in the center. Shadow arrives and sees 2 women beating another girl on the ground. The attackers complain that they're tired and that their hands hurt from hitting her so much. On the ground, Qin Xiaoyu is bruised and battered, with no strength to get up. Still, she gathers what little strength she has left and slowly tries to rise. Furious, she blames Qin Feng for everything, saying he truly abandoned her. But she gets to her feet, promising to become much stronger than that Chu woman. Then she uses a healing spell and swears she'll get revenge on everyone who humiliated her. But she misses her spell, and it ends up hitting the hidden Shadow. Desperate, she realizes she messed up again and wasted all her mana for nothing. The scene changes, and now we see a group of heroes fighting a giant stone golem. The warrior Wang Ming stands at the front, blocking the monster's attack with his shield. From a distance, another trio of players watches the battle unfold. One of the observers scoffs, saying the men of Daxia are weak and cowardly, but the other girl tells her to be grateful, as they were fighting for their sake. Meanwhile, the group is attacking the golem with everything they've got, and the monster is almost dead. One of the mages prepares to deliver the final blow, already celebrating the victory, but out of nowhere, a spear pierces his neck, catching everyone by surprise. Just then, a mysterious man appears, thanking the weaklings for their work and for the loot. Wang Meng gets angry, recognizing them as the infamous Sword Gang. He yells for his group not to be afraid and tells them to attack all at once. The gang's brute laughs and says he's going to slaughter all those Daxia pigs. With a single blow, he uses Thunder Crush, cracking the ground with a shockwave. At the same time, the woman in the group rushes forward with her 2 daggers. She then uses a spinning attack, slicing through several players with her energy blades. Victorious, she steps on the fallen and says the men of Daxia are truly trash. She licks her dagger and realizes the officials must have already spread information about them. For safety, the leader decides it's time to leave and head to North America. She then gets the idea to form a new guild there, one that will hunt Daxia players. Her partners think it's a great idea and immediately ask what the guild's name will be. With a seductive look, she raises her dagger and says the guild's name will be Alice. Satisfied, she announces that's enough for one day and it's time to log off and celebrate. In the real world, she parties with several men to celebrate the creation of the new Alice Guild.